How do, guys? Welcome to another Thursday night live stream, and as you all probably know, if you've seen me usual preliminary promo thumbnail, tonight's live stream is going to be all about our favourite horror movies. So if you've got a particular favourite horror movie, please feel free to discuss it. Any favourite horror actors, again, please feel free, to discuss. So just getting in the mood there with me t-shirt on, So Larry Talbot looks like he's ready to go there. The good old Wolfman. So as I say, guys, the theme tonight is horror movies. So any aspect really about horror movies, not just your favourite ones, bad horror movies, all-time classic horror movies you think are overrated, horror movies you think are underrated. Just discuss horror. Okay, well, I hope you've all had a good week, guys, and if you've been Blu-ray hunting, I hope you've managed to pick up some bargains. I've got a couple myself and that I'm going to show off in an upcoming video. Alright then, guys, I'm just going to get into the comments now, so just bear with me. So, right. Have any of you guys been to see any horror movies on the pictures lately? Again, please feel free to discuss, any good ones and that, Right, so we got the first comments of the night, and that is from Brian Gilson. Hi, Alan, how are you? I'm alright, thanks, Brian. Hope you are, good too. Yeah, thanks for turning up, mate. Bear with me, guys, just comments are going a bit weird here. Any of you have been to see that new Scream movie on the pictures? What did you think of it? Gina's here. You're right, Gina. Hi, Alan and everyone. Thanks for stopping by, Gina. Always nice to see you. Christian Bell. Hey, Alan, you seen a film called Body Parts, fella? Thinking of buying a copy. Body Parts. It does ring a vague bell, Christian. I might have seen it like on video many years ago, but yeah, it does ring a bell. Yeah. KW, hi Alan. You okay, mate? Thanks for turning up tonight. Brian Gilson saying, I am really looking forward to the new Scream film. I've heard it's good. A couple of people I've seen like on YouTube, said it's pretty good, so I don't go to the pictures now, guys. I just get them all on I get them all on Blu-ray and DVD, and I might rent out the odd one, on Amazon Prime. But yeah, I don't really, never really been one much for going to the cinema. Saw a couple of movies in my teen years and that. But yeah, I've always liked to watch my movies at home. KW, not a fan of Scream, to be honest. Yeah, I suppose it's one of those franchises, isn't it? Some people like them, some people loathe them. Yeah. I've got most of the Scream movies in my collection, but I must admit they're not me normal go-to horror movies. Like the ones like Dracula, Hammer, movies like that, Friday the 13th, Halloween. I watched them. They're okay. I wouldn't really go mad on them, yeah. Graham Powell saying, you okay, Gray? Hi, Alan. Have you seen it, Exorcist 3 with George C. Scott? I saw it years ago. I rented it out from my local video library, and I always remember that jump scare scheme. It's in the hospital, isn't it? Isn't it one of the nurses sort of comes all of a sudden from nowhere and walks like that with her hands out? Yeah, I can't remember too much about it, to be honest, Graham, but I have seen it. I've only seen it the once though. Yeah, George C. Scott. Edward's here. You okay, Edward? Thanks for stopping by, mate. Evening, Alan. Hope you're well. I'm not too bad, thanks, Edward. Yeah, hope you are too. Brian Hall. All right, Alan, you okay? I'm not too bad, thanks, Brian. Hope you are as well. KW saying, I like to take my son to the cinema. Right. KW, I love Scream and Scream Again. Yeah. Yeah. Good movie. Brian Hall. Pet Sematary scared the life out of me. Very, very creepy movie, Pet Sematary. Yeah. Especially the part where Gage, you know, the toddler, he comes back from the dead. And the cat as well, of course, Church. Yeah. I enjoyed the novel as well. Pet Sematary, you know, by Stephen King. First read it in the early 80s, and oh yeah, it's one of his, if not his darkest novel. And King even said himself, you know, it was a very, very disturbing story to write. Yeah, but oh yeah, I love Pet Sematary. I did not like that remake though. I did not like that at all. The sequel's not bad. Where the dog is, don't he put the dog in the Micmac burial ground? I've got that one. That's not too bad. Yeah, but I love the original one, you know, with the guy out there, the monsters, Fred Gwynn. Oh, I love that one. I've got the 4K of that, and the picture quality is absolutely pristine. Yeah, oh yeah, I love Pet Sematary. Brian Gilson is saying, I feel the same. I've been to the cinema a few times, but I prefer to watch them relax at home. Yeah, same here. Yeah, oh yeah, you know, it's one of my main pleasures in life. Buying a Blu-ray or a DVD and just chilling out at home and that. Yeah, oh definitely. You get some noisy buggers in the pictures now, don't you? You know, like sort of like sitting in front of you and that with their mobile phones and that nattering and that, you know. And if you get them behind you and that, you know, gangs of teenagers and that shouting their heads off. Oh yeah, yeah. You can't beat watching it. You can't beat watching a movie, you know, in the comforts of your own home, guys. KW is saying, I remember seeing Christine at the cinema in the 80s. That's another big favourite of mine. The Haunted Car, Christine. Yeah, fantastic. I've got that on 4K as well. Yeah, that's that rates very highly in you know, my all-time favourite Stephen King stories. Yeah, I love the movie and I love the book. Yeah, the book's got a little bit more horror. It's got a little bit more horror in it, you know, in the story, in the narrative. You've got like the you know, the stuff like the creepy car dealer. I think his name is Roland LeMay, if my memory serves me correctly. He's quite creepy in the book. Yeah, oh yeah, it's very, very, it's darker again, the book, the novel, than the movie. Bailey is Ghostface in Scream 6. In Scream 6, they go, oh yeah, we don't want any spoilers, please. Get your fingers ready on the buttons, moderators. KW is asking me, do you like Carrie, Alan? I love Carrie. Yeah, I love the both versions actually. Yeah, and I love the book as well. Stephen King's debut novel. Yeah, oh yeah, I love Carrie. Yeah, excellent performances in both movies, especially in the first one with Sissy Spacek and that pig blood scene. Oh my days, yeah. Oh, that's one of the most memorable scenes in horror movie history. That pig blood scene. Yeah. Tell you a couple, guys. While we're on the theme of horror tonight, I'll tell you a couple of horror movies I've watched recently. I watched the new Arrow release at the weekend of the House That Screamed. Oh my days, was I bored. It was an utter bore fest. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it or picked it up, but if you haven't, you know, well, this is just my opinion, as you always say, save your money, because you will be bored senseless. Yeah, oh, rubbish. Lovely packaging, but unfortunately, again, it's a case of the proof in the pudding not being in the eating. You know, never judge a book by its cover. Lovely slip cover, and yeah, as I say, but you know, the actual movie, it didn't live up to the you know, the nice aesthetics of the packaging. So that was a major disappointment. I watched a fantastic movie, by contrast, starring the late great Anthony Perkins. I won't say too much about it in case you haven't seen it, but it's called I'm Dangerous Tonight, and that's a very, very good psychological horror. So I'd highly recommend that one. Yeah. Watch Baby Oopsie from Full Moon. I didn't like either of them. It's basically about this monster baby, you know, but yeah, it was just a crazy movie, guys. You know, the story was weak, you know, and yeah, I didn't like them at all. Yeah, so as I say, I've got a couple of pickups there but I haven't watched yet, so when I've watched them I might do a review of a couple of them. But yeah, as I say, That House That Screamed, it was a dreadful movie, it really was. Brian Hall, The Evil Dead, quite scary, yeah, especially the first one. KW, Doctor Sleep was okay. Yeah, it's yeah. I have to admit, I wasn't a big fan of that. You know, I was disappointed with Doctor Sleep. Not a patch on The Shining. You know, I wasn't too keen on the novel Doctor Sleep, and I wasn't too keen on the movie. Yeah, so I didn't think Rose the Hat was a very, very scary. She wasn't a very, very scary movie villain. Well, that's just my opinion, you know. But she did she did do some a couple of horrible things, you know, which I won't go into here. But yeah, it just didn't do it for me, guys. Doctor Sleep, yeah, major disappointments. So there you go. Oh, The Shining was an absolute classic movie. It really was. Christian Bell, you okay, Christian? Thanks for coming along. Don't you miss the B films, Alan? I love The Incredible Melting Man and B films, fella. I love B movies. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I've got a good book there by Jonathan Ross, the Incredibly Strange Picture Show, where he goes into a lot of these B movies and that, you know. So I haven't read it yet. I got it for Christmas. So oh yeah, I love me B movies. I've got a collection there. A lot of them are in black cases of you know, like B movies, creature features and that, you know. One of my favourites is a movie called The Horror of Party Beach. I don't know if you guys have seen that one, but it's basically like obviously it's set on a beach and that, and it's a bit of a musical as well. But you've got like the horror aspect tied into it, because you've got these sorts of like mutated creatures emerging and that, you know, from out of the water and so forth, and attacking people. So that's one I could highly recommend, yeah, and lovely picture quality as well on the Blu-ray that I've got, yeah. So the Horror of Party Beach, yeah, fantastic. I think it was made in the early 60s, yeah, but I can highly recommend that one. Oh yeah, I love me B movies. Brian Hall, the new one looks quite creepy too, right? KW, Carrie's mother is pure evil. Oh yeah, especially the one with Julianne Moore in. Oh yeah, that was a good subplot, that, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Carrie. Christian Bell, and April, Salem's Lot remake is out in April, buddy. Oh yeah, it got put back, didn't it, Christian? Yeah. I'm not really holding out too much hope for that, to be honest, because I didn't like the only Salem's Lot movie I like was David Soul's from 1979, directed by Toby Hooper, who also directed the Anthony Perkins movie I just referred to before, I'm Dangerous Tonight. Yeah, Toby Hooper. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not really holding my breath about that, you know, because there's been that many disappointing remakes over the years, what I've seen and that, you know, and yeah, so I'm just sort of like just gonna, let's just say I'm just gonna go into it not with no high expectations, you know, I'm just gonna see how it goes, yeah. Very, very rarely, you know, the remakes live up to the original. Brian Gilson is saying, the first reviews for the new Evil Dead film say it's really gory and scary. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it's had some glowing reviews. I always loved the first one. The first one what Bruce Campbell made. Yeah, absolute classic. That was one of the first movies, guys. It was on my list of rentals when I first got me my VHS recorder in January of 1986. That was very, very high on my list of I have to get oh yeah, I love the Evil Dead. I've got it on 4K now, so it's great to have it on 4K. I did not like that third one though, where it goes back into medieval times. Oh my days, that I thought that was really, really boring. But having said that, I know the movie's got its fans, so I've got no problem with that. But I'm just saying it wasn't to my liking. Yeah, I didn't like it at all. So There you go. Gina's saying, which version of The Shining do you like best? I only like the Kubrick version, not the remakes. I like the Kubrick version, and I also like the one with Rebecca De Mornay that was made in it. It was at 1997. I thought that was quite good. I believe Stephen King preferred that one, didn't he, to the Kubrick one? But I like both of them. You know, I know the one they made for TV, Rebecca De Mornay, they put a bit more into that, didn't he? You know, the more that was in the book that wasn't included in the 1981. But oh yeah, I love both. I love both Shining movies. Yeah, definitely. Jack Nicholson was really on the money, you know, playing the role of Jack Torrance. He really was. Right, KW is saying Melting Man is an awesome film, very entertaining. Yeah, saw it years ago. I haven't got it in my collection, so I'll have to get that one. As I say, add it to me collection. Dr. Impossible's here. You okay, Doctor? Hope you've had a good week. A fairly decent Australian horror film with strange behaviour. It's about a professor at college experimenting on teens and turning them into maniacs. Michael Murphy starred. Strange behaviour. I don't think I've seen that one, Doctor. I'll have to watch out for that one. Yeah, strange behaviour. The title does ring a vague bell, but I don't think I've seen it. So I'll have to check that one out. KW is saying, did you watch Mondo Rosso with Jonathan Ross? No, I haven't seen it. I'll have to check that out. Right, Zami Adams is saying, I watched Don't Answer the Phone 1980 again last night. Great sleazy thriller. You seen it, Alan? Is that the one where there's a couple of these ones, isn't it, where they get like the girl's babysitting and she gets like a phone call? The one I remember most is the calls, and the calls are actually not coming from outside, but they're coming from inside the house. Is that the one you mean? The one it went a bit slow in the middle, but then it picked up again towards the end, because that's the one that springs to mind. You know, when anybody mentions like what you just mentioned, Don't Answer the Phone. There was one missed call as well, wasn't there? That was another one. Yeah. So yeah, there could be the same one actually. Yeah. Because if it's the same one, I didn't like the way it went slow in the beginning here when he started investigating the case. So because I had the Arrow Special Edition a couple of years ago, and it started off really good, you know. But as the movie wore on, it became very very sluggish and ponderous, and I was nearly falling asleep watching it. But that might be the same one, you know. What you know, Don't Answer the Phone. Yeah. Richard Brown saying Phantasm was a good one. Yeah, do you like it, Alan? It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I've only seen I think I've only seen one or two of those movies. Yeah, always remember the Silver Ball, you know, and the man dressed all in black. Yeah. Christian Bell, I'll look into that Horror at Party Beach. Cheers, fella. Yeah, it's a good one, Christian. Yeah, it's a great one. That the Horror at Party Beach. Yeah, as I say, I love me B, you know, me B movies. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and as I say, the picture quality is absolutely pristine on that one. So yeah, it's a good one. That to add to your collection. But yeah, I love me B movies. Right, KW is saying the original Salem's Lot takes some beating. Definitely, yeah. That's one of my all-time favourite horror movies, that Salem's Lot. I loved everything about that. I loved David Soul as the main protagonist, Ben Mears. I loved James Mason as Barlow's, he was like his guardian, really, wasn't he? Setting everything up for him and that, you know. And the guy who played the vampire Barlow, oh my days, was he scary. Yeah, I love Salem's Lot. I can put that on and watch it anytime. Fantastic, yeah. And you know, the girl, who played David So's love interest, she was very good as well. And the vampires, two scenes spring to mind, guys, in that movie. The notorious window scene where where the little boy comes back from the dead and he's tapping on the window like that. And when he opens it, I think the boy inside, his name's Danny Glick. When he opens it, I think it's Danny Glick. It's a while since I watched it. He opens the window and he pounces on him, doesn't he? Yeah, and then the one where the guy, the gravedigger, he's sitting in the dark and he's sitting in the rocking chair and that. You see his eyes glowing and that, and his fangs and that. Oh, two real creepy scenes they were. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Salem's Lot. Yeah, fantastic movie. Playtendo guy, Pete's here. You okay, Pete? Evening, Alan, and everyone in the chat. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by, Pete. Brian's saying hi to Playtendo guy, yeah. Pete's saying, you're looking forward to Scream 6, Alan. It's a great continuation of 5, and the new characters are very interesting. Well, I'll most probably check it out, Pete. But as I say, I don't think I'll be going to the cinema to watch it. Because, as I say, I like to watch all the movies in my comfort of my own home. So I'll most probably check it out, yeah. But, Pete's saying, hey to Brian. KW is saying Phantasm is awesome, part 2 is great too, right? Nathan Andrew Smitty is saying, hi Alan, have you ever seen Caligula starring Malcolm McDowell? I've heard of it, Nathan, but I haven't seen it. And Helen Mirren, very fine actress Helen Mirren. That should be classed as a horror movie. Shocking, yeah. As I say, I've heard of it. Isn't that set in ancient Rome? Yeah, Caligula. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Although I'm not normally, I'm not normally a great lover of period pieces, but I'll have to check that out. Doctor Impossible saying, I still have a soft spot for Ken Widerhorn's Eyes of a Stranger, made in 1981. John DeSanti is scary as bleep. Creepy and perfectly cast. Eyes of a Stranger. I don't think I've seen that one, Doctor. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. Pete's saying, I watched the film with Sam Neill called Possession. It was a really creepy, unsettling film. The alleyway scene was haunting. I think I've seen that movie, Pete, many years ago. Yeah, I don't remember too much about it, but yeah, I've definitely seen it. Yeah, I love Sam Neill. I especially liked him in the Omen. Where like he played like an adult version of Damien, didn't he? And he went into politics. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've definitely seen that one. Definitely. Nathan's saying, also loved the first Howling movie, especially the werewolf transformation scene, although not as good as American Werewolf and London Werewolf scene. Yeah, talking about werewolf movies, I watched a very, very poor movie the other night. It was a movie called Wolf Manor, and I think it must be one of the worst werewolf movies I've ever seen in my whole life. Oh, the story was crap, the characters were crap. It's terrible. It really was. Yeah. I'm sorry now. I didn't save some money and rent it out on Amazon. Yeah, because I paid $7.99 for it in HMV. But it was awful. Yeah, a terrible movie. It really was. One of the worst werewolf movies I've ever seen in my whole life. Right. Gene is saying, I found a Sentinel a really scary film. Yeah. I love The Sentinel, yeah. That's based on the novel as well, Gina. Yeah, I haven't read the novel, but I've got that in my collection, yeah. I love The Sentinel. Rock and Roll Hell is saying, evening, me old mucker. You okay, mate? Thanks for dropping by, yeah. Nice to see you, nice. Richard Brown, Danny Glick as the vampire at the window, I think, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of the most disturbing scenes in horror movie history. That scene in Salem's Lot, yeah, definitely. Scared to be Jesus out of a lot of people, didn't it? Rock and Roll Hell. Demons 2 and Freddy's Revenge are some of my favourites, yeah. I love Freddy's Revenge, yeah. I can't understand, guys, the hate that movie's, accrued over the years, but more recently, more and more people are beginning to appreciate the movie for what it was, I mean, like, Freddy's very dark in it, and the way he sort of, like, attacks Jesse and takes him over and that, it's a very dark movie, that, Freddy's Revenge, yeah, I love it, yeah. And, Demons, I must admit, I do prefer the first Demons with it in the cinema. I like the second one, but not as much as I enjoyed the first one. I've got the first one on 4K. I haven't got Demons 2 on 4K, but oh yeah, I always remember renting Demons. That when when I got me video recorder in 1986, that was one of the first movies I dashed down to my local video store to rent house. Demons, yeah, fantastic, yeah, oh yeah, great setting as well in the darkened cinema, and oh my days were those Demons scary. Rock and Roll Hell, way too many to list, yeah. Nathan's saying, did you get round to watching Baby Oopsie yet? Yeah, I just spoke about that, Nathan. I watched the two of them. I didn't like them. They were awful, yeah, awful. And some parts of it were quite not the sort of parts you should watch if you're eating your dinner. You know, they were a bit stomach churning. The story was no good. I didn't like the premise. I didn't like the characters. So I put both of them on eBay. Yeah, major disappointments, Baby Oopsie. But that, as I say, I always like to say, guys, that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to put any of you off. If you want to go and check them out for yourselves, because everybody's different, aren't they? You know, one man's meat is another man's poison. So if you want to check Baby Oopsie out, you might like it. You never know. But I just said it wasn't my cup of tea. You know. So there you go. Right, Rock and Roll Hell is saying Possession is a masterpiece. Yeah, that's a set-piece. You know, I do recall seeing it many years ago. So I'll have to revisit that movie. Yeah, so I love Sam Neill. Right, Edward is saying, what's your thoughts on Christine? Well, as I said before, I love the movie and I love the novel by Stephen King. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and I just love the sinister powers Christine had. You know, very haunted vehicle that was. Yeah, it reminded me, guys. I think I've said this before. You know that series Thriller with Brian Clemens that was shown in the early 70s. There was a story in that. It always stays in my mind. It's about Donna Mills is in it. You know, the blonde actress, and it's a segment called One Deadly Owner, and it's basically, I won't tell you too much about it because I don't want to spoil it for you. But she's basically playing this model, and she gets her eyes on this lovely big white Rolls Royce, you know, in a car dealers and that, and she buys it and that. But little does she know, it's got a dark history because there was a murder committed in it many years ago, and of course, when she buys it, like basically she starts experiencing all sorts of strange things. But if you ever get that series, Brian Clemens' Thriller, watch out for that One Deadly Owner. That's one of the best ones. That. But oh yeah, I love Christine. Yeah, I'd say it's one of my all-time favourite Stephen King stories. Yeah, fantastic. I love any movies with haunted vehicles. You know, or books. Yeah, I think they're fantastic. Right. KW is saying, I love the Omen. Yeah, I love the Omen as well. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've got the Scream Factory box set of that. Oh yeah, fantastic. I never get tired of watching the Omen movies. And the first one, oh my days, that scene with poor Damien's mother, where he's on his trike and that, and he knocks her flying, and she's like that, isn't she? And she falls down onto the floor, and she ends up Lee Remick. Yeah. She played Damien's mother, and she ends up in hospital, and of course we all know what happens, don't they, with Mrs. Baylock, Damien's guard, and she creeps into the hospital surreptitiously, and let's just say she finishes the job off. Yeah, oh yeah, terrifying. I actually thought Mrs. Baylock was even more sinister and scary than Damien himself. You know, but oh yeah, fantastic performance by Billy Whitelaw in that movie. Oh yeah, I love all the Omen movies. Watched them anytime. Gian is saying Possession is a great film, right? Yeah, as I say, I'll have to revisit that one. Richard is saying In the Mouth of Madness is a cracker with Sam Neill. I saw that last year, Richard. I have to say it wasn't really my cup of tea, you know. But I do know for a fact a lot of people like that movie, including yourself, of course. But yeah, it wasn't really my cup of tea. But as I say, I do like Sam Neill as an actor. I think he's fantastic. One movie of Sam Neill's I'd like to revisit, guys, is a movie called Dead Calm. Well, ages since I saw it, it had something to do with like this couple on a boat right in the middle of the ocean, and I think if my memory serves me correctly, I think Sam Neill plays a psychopath, doesn't he? So if any of you have seen Dead Calm, refresh my memory on that. So it's years since I saw it, so I'll have to revisit that one sometime in the future. Pete's saying the Indicator sale is on next week. Apparently going to be their best sale yet. I'll definitely be having a look at that piece. Yeah. Oh yeah. Any sales that go, that are going off, I'm always right there. Yeah. So I'll definitely be checking that out. Yeah. Yeah. I love Indicator. I think they're a fantastic company. KW saying, I want Werewolf versus the Vampire Woman 4K. Yeah. Is that the one with Paul Naschy? The foreign horror actor. I'm sure Paul Naschy's in that one. Yeah, he was like he was the equivalent of Christopher Lee, to us, and Lon Chaney Jr. because he played a werewolf. I think he played a werewolf about 5 times. Paul Naschy, yeah. I got his a couple of Christmases ago, guys. I got his 2 box sets, the Paul Naschy collection, and most of the movies were awful. They really were, yeah. So I ended up flogging them, But again, great packaging, great aesthetics. But the proof of the pudding's got to be in the eating, guys, hasn't it? A lot of these films, they get like lovely packaging and that, and it's sort of like that. They tempt you that much. You just got to buy them for your collection. But when you watch them, you think to yourself, bloody hell, what have I wasted me money on here? So oh yeah, they were very disappointing. Those 2 Paul Naschy box sets, yeah. So right, KW is saying I have Sugar Hill on Blu-ray from Scorpion Kino, right? Kino Lorber are a great company as well. I bought a couple of titles from them, Kino Lorber. Yeah, I've got a couple of Clint Eastwood's westerns on Kino Lorber. I'm talking about Clint Eastwood, guys, just straying from horror just for a minute. I've added to me Clint Eastwood collection Blu-ray versions of movies that I didn't have on Blu-ray. So I'm getting rid of the DVDs and I'm replacing them with their Blu-rays and that. So I've got a couple of good ones from Amazon Germany, later ones as well, actually. Bloodwork, that one. I've got The Gauntless, the one he made in 1977. I always remember that scene where they're in the van and all the cops are firing at them and that, and there's all bullet holes peppering the van and that. I don't know how they managed to get out of that. Yeah, so I've got The Gauntless. Heartbreak Ridge, I'm getting that on Blu-ray. Yeah, there's about 4 or 5 guys have ordered at Clint's on Blu-ray. So hopefully, I hope to own every well. That's saying all the Clint Eastwood movies I like. I won't be buying the ones I don't like, So all my favourite Clint Eastwood movies I'll hope to have on Blu-ray. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting them. Larry Fleetwood is saying, since it's my favourite movie, I guess it's also my favourite horror movie, The Fearless Vampire Killers. You're a man after my own heart, Larry. I absolutely love The Fearless Vampire Killers, starring Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski, also known as Dance of the Vampires, also known as Pardon Me, But Your Teeth Are in My Neck. Yeah, I love that movie. My mum doesn't like it, she thinks it's stupid, but I love it. I love the snowy scenes, I love the vampire, Freddy Main, and of course I love Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski. Alfie Bass is in it as well, isn't he? Yeah, I love that one. And a twist at the end, oh my days, yeah, but that was, if any of you guys have seen the Count Yorga movies, you might as well say it's the kind of twist to those. I won't tell you what the twists are, but they've got 2 very good twists at the end, But oh yeah, I love that movie, The Fearless Vampire Killers, and he was a right gorp, wasn't he? That professor, the old guy, with the moustache and that. He was a right gorp, yeah. Just the sort of vampire hunter you would not want around your house, or your castle, trying to stake a vampire. He was just bumbling, wasn't he? And Roman Polanski played as, is equally bumbling assistants and that. And I love the dance scene as well, where they're having the dance, the grand ball and that, and you look in the mirror and you can see they're all, all the vampires, they're casting no reflection, aren't they? Oh yeah, I think it's a fantastic movie. That it's a good little tribute to Hammer as well. Excuse me. It's a good little homage to the Hammer movies. Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah. Right. Richard's saying Enemy by Dennis Denis Villeneuve is a fantastic Doppelganger film. I haven't seen that movie, Richard. Yeah, I love me Doppelganger movies. And if you've been watching my channel, I think you will know what my all-time favourite Doppelganger movie is. Roger Moore and The Man Who Haunted Himself. That, for me, is the perfect Doppelganger movie. I won't go on so much about it in case you haven't seen it. But if you love your Doppelganger movies, get yourself a copy of The Man Who Haunted Himself. Very underrated movie, and by all accounts, Roger Moore's favourite movie. Yeah. So I've got I upgraded to the Blu-ray last year. I haven't watched the Blu-ray yet, but I believe I know there's commentary by Roger Moore on that particular disc. So I'll try and watch that very soon, and that with the commentary on. But I've lost count of the times I've watched The Man Who Haunted Himself, and even though I know every single thing that's going to happen in it, I just love it. It's a great movie. Anton Rogers is very good in it as well as Roger Moore's business associates. And you get Freddy Jones as well, playing the nutty psychiatrist. He's a good actor, Freddy Jones, yeah. He played the monster in Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, one of my all-time favourite Frankenstein movies, by the way. Never seen Baron Frankenstein so evil in that one. If you discount The Curse of Frankenstein, the very first Frankenstein in 1957, he's even more evil in Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, Peter Cushing, yeah. Oh, fantastic, yeah. Steve's here. You okay, Steve? Thanks for dropping by, mate. Evening, anything by Peter Walker for me. You've hit the nail on the head there. I love Peter Walker. Yeah, Frightmare, The Flesh and Blood Show. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. I've got most of his horror movies in my collection. Yeah, love Pete Walker. And Sheila Keith in Frightmare, where she plays that woman released from the nut house, and she reads the cards, doesn't she? She has women go into her house and that, and she gives the messages and that, and next minute she's bloody murdering them. She's a cannibal. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's very creepy movie, that one, Frightmare. Yeah, love it. Yeah. And The House of Whipcord, Sheila Keith again. She plays this sort of like governor of this sort of like underground. It's like a kind of a penal reform organisation. They sort of like they capture people who's done crimes, and they punish them in the way they think they should be punished, and that means very brutally. So if you haven't seen The House of Whipcord, I'll actually do a review of that sometime on my channel. I haven't done a full review of The House of Whipcord, but it's a great one. That I think was made in 1974. Yeah. So I love Sheila Keith. Yeah, she was a fantastic actress. Yeah, they called her the female Boris Karloff. Yeah, fantastic actress, Sheila Keith. Rock and Roll Hell is saying, watching Demons on VHS must have been a hell of a treat. It was, believe me, it was. Yeah, the special effects in both of those movies are fantastic. Yeah, I love Demons. Yeah, fantastic movie. And I'd say the cinema setting really added to the malevolent atmosphere. Gina's saying, one of my favourite horror films is a Dunwich Horror. Yeah, got that one, love it. With Dean Stockwell. Yeah, I've got the Arrow edition of that. Wonderful imagery and great soundtrack. Yeah, I'm totally with you there, Gina. Yeah, and lovely packaging as well. Yeah, I watched that recently. Yeah, H.P. Lovecraft, based on a story by H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah, I love the Dunwich Horror. Nathan Andrew Smitty is saying, Caligula is outrageous. How they got some of them scenes past is beyond me. If you watch it, you'll never look at Malcolm McDowell the same way. A bit naughty scenes, are they? Yeah. All right. Yeah. As I say, I've heard of it and that, but I haven't seen it and that. Yeah. So yeah. I watched Malcolm McDowell. Although I do like Malcolm McDowell, I watched him in that movie called If. What he made, I think it was around about 1968 or 69. He's a public school boy, like Eton signed it, like Eton and that, very very upper class and that. And it was a real bore fest, guys. I didn't like it. Yeah, so I'll put it on eBay. Yeah, If. Yeah. So I don't know if any of you have seen that one. Yeah, very very slow movie. If a movie, to be honest with you guys, most of the time, if a movie doesn't hold my attention by, say, just over what, maybe 3/4 into the movie, and I find it slow. I usually end up either falling asleep or switching it off. You know, it's got to sort of like get going right away. Well, they always say, don't they? In many of the writing books I've read, you've got to hook the reader right away with a good story. Same with films, you've got to hook the viewer right away. You know, if you sort of like you create a movie and the story is very, very weak and the characters are plastic and that they've got no depth to them, well, you know, your audience is going to be very, very disappointed. You know, but yeah, I like a movie to sort of like get going really. You know, from the outset, and that hold me attention. Otherwise, after 3/4 of an hour, nothing's happened. You know, there's a lot of talk in it. I just switch it off. Yeah, or as I say, end up falling asleep. Yeah. Right. Zami Adams is saying the church in the Omen where the priest gets impaled is near me at Putney Bridge. Oh, right, yeah. Oh, that was a horrific scene, wasn't it, that, yeah? Oh, yeah, fantastic scene, that, yeah. One of the most memorable scenes in horror movie history, that. Poor Patrick Troughton. He also played Doctor Who, didn't he? Richard Brown pulling maggots out of himself. Dr. Impossible saying, Miss Brian Clemens, yeah? Brilliant concept writer and one hell of a wicked sense of humour, right? He not only did Thriller, he done a lot of scripts at the Avengers and that, you know, series like that, didn't he, Brian Clemens? Thriller is still one of the best ITV anthology series ever produced. I'd certainly second that. I love Thriller. The second being Anglia TV's Tales of the Unexpected. Yeah, definitely, yeah. I've got both of those box sets in my collection, yeah. So, oh yeah, love Thriller. I think that was my favourite TV drama series of the 1970s, guys, Thriller. It used to be shown on a Saturday night around about 9 o'clock, and I never missed an episode. And I never ever dreamed that one day I'd have the whole series in my collection, you know. So, some cracking episodes and that. Especially the one with, as I said before, Donna Mills with the haunted car, very reminiscent of Christine, and the one with Diana Dawes, Nurse Will Make It Better, where she plays this sinister, old woman. She's kind of a witch in that, and she's sort of like assigned to take care of this girl. She's sick. She's lying sick in bed, you know, and it's sort of like this well-to-do family. And the way she just comes into the room and that, you know, and she sits on the girl's bed and that, you know, and her face changes, goes to sort of like exorcist like her eyes and that, because she's supposed to be the devil, you know, in the form of a nurse, shall we say. And she actually punches the girl in the face. And yeah, oh yeah, I won't say too much more about it, guys. You'll have to, if you haven't seen it, you'll have to, you know, I highly recommend you check out that series. It's a cracking series, and I hope, fingers crossed, that one day somebody will pick it up for a Blu-ray release with plenty of special features, you know, because the one I've got, the Thriller series I've got, is very, very bare bones. I tell you another episode I like in that one, guys, the one with Robert Powell in, Sister Mary. Yeah, he's mad on this, Sister Mary, she's kind of a soap opera character. No, the woman plays a nun in that, like a series like Dallas and that Dynasty, only it's like a religious one. And he's a mad fan. He's like a male version of Annie Wilkes, if you will. And he's obsessed with that Sister Mary, and he follows her to the studio and that, you know, and it takes a very, very dark turn, that story, Sister Mary. So as I say again, if you get that series, Sister Mary, highly recommend that. One of the ones you watch first, yeah. Robert Powell's another one of my favourite actors. He's fantastic playing Jesus off, you know. He's a great actor, Robert Powell. He was good in The Asphyx as well. That's a good horror movie, The Asphyx. Right, Gina's saying, have you ever seen Fear No Evil? It was made in 1969 and stars Louis Jordan as a psychiatrist. I've seen that one, yeah. Investigating the case of a woman haunted by a demonic vampire. It's really good. Now I had the two movies. I had Fear No Evil and I had another one, and he was playing the same character. The one I liked the best was the one with Linda Day Georgian. Is that the one you're referring to? But I didn't like the other one. I thought it was a bit slow. Yeah, one's something to do with a mirror, isn't it? The one with Linda Day Georgian. I don't know if that, because the titles are similar. Yeah, it could be the same one actually. But as I say, I had the I think it was the Kino Lorber release. It had the 2 movies on it, and Louis Jordan, he was playing the same character in each movie. I think they were actually going to do a series of it, but it never ever came to fruition, guys. Yeah, but yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah, I like Louis Jordan playing Count Dracula in that 1977 TV movie. Yeah, I think he was one of the nearest that came to he was the one of the few Draculas that came closest to Christopher Lee. You know, fantastic. Yeah, I've got that on DVD, the Dracula. KW, yes, Nashi Allen, it's a good film, that. Yeah, Paul Nashi, well, I like it, plenty of action. Yeah. Rock and Roll Hell is saying only Paul Nashi film I've seen is Panic Beats. Don't think I've seen that one. Panic Beats, that wasn't bad. About a knight who haunts an old castle, knocking off unsuspecting victims. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. I'll have to check that one out. Cheers for that, mate. Dr. Impossible is saying Billy Zane is the maniac. Dead Calm was directed by Philip Noyce. Right, yeah. As I say, I'll have to check that out. Jason saw it. KW, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot is superb. Yeah, that's the one with Clint Eastwood in, isn't it? Is it Jeff Bridges plays the other role? Yeah, I don't remember too much about that one because it's years since I saw it. Yeah. KW again, Fearless Vampire Hunters is a classic. You're talking about the Sharon Tate one again, yeah? Yeah, it's a great one, that. The Fearless Vampire Killers. As I say, also known as Dance of the Vampires. Yeah, love it. I think that's one of my all-time favourites. Horror comedy movies, guys. Dance of the Vampires. I absolutely love it. Yeah, so yeah, very enjoyable movie. Right, Dr. Impossible's saying Dead Calm is a great Aussie film and it's produced by George Miller of Mad Max fame. Right? Case saying, oops, Vampire Killers. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, the Fearless Vampire Killers. Yeah. Rock and Roll Hell is saying the ending of the Fearless Vampire Killers really upset me as a kid. Right? I must admit, it was quite a shock to me as well. I won't spoil it, but it's an ending that kind of sits with you. I know what you mean. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh my days. Sharon Tate looked absolutely gorgeous, and as she does in all her movies. You know, very, very sad what happened to her. You know, yeah. Oh, I thought she was a fine actress, and very, very beautiful as well. Real Asthma. Ever OMG, Alan. Have you seen the movies? No, I haven't seen those. No. I don't think I've got any intention to see them either, to be honest with you. Right, moving on. Dr. Impossible, Sissy Heat. Again, years since I saw that one. Yeah, he's Burt Reynolds as his co-star, isn't it? Yeah. I'll have to check that one out again. Love Clint Eastwood, especially spaghetti westerns. Richard Brown saying, If is a masterpiece of British cinema. Oh, you like that, did you? Yeah, I suppose it's one of those. Marmite movies, isn't it? You know, you either like it or you loathe it. Yeah, it just wasn't my cup of tea, unfortunately. Dr. Impossible saying, I've ever seen Straight Jackets, Alan? Is that the one with Joan Crawford in? Indicator released the film a few years. Yeah, Joan Crawford. I thought that was the one. Yeah, Joan Crawford with an axe. Yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah, definitely. William Castle does a decent job. Yeah, Castle did Homicide as well. Yeah, it's a good one. His semi-take on Psycho fun. I've got the William Castle, the first volume of his movies. I didn't like the second one, Indicator. Yeah, so I got rid of the second one, but I loved that first box set. William Castle. He was famous for his gimmicks, wasn't he? You know, like the Tingler. He'd sort of like put like electrical buzzers in the audience and that. And whenever a scary scene flashed onto the screen, the button would be pressed and the audience would jump in their seats and that. Yeah, But oh yeah, I thought he was a very good director, William Castle. Brian Gilson, I think Brian Clemens wrote or directed Captain Kronos, right? Yeah, that's the swashbuckling hammer vampire film, isn't it? Captain Kronos. Graham Powell saying, I love the Dr. Phibes films. Yeah, I liked the first one, I didn't like the second one. Yeah, the one with Robert Quarry in, wasn't too keen on that, but I did like the first one. I thought it was a fantastic movie, and I've watched that many a Friday nights. You know, it's been shown quite a few times over the years. Yeah, when he used to show the horrors on a late night on a Friday night, Dr. Phibes was always a regular on the listings. Yeah, but I like Theatre of Blood as well. That was pretty similar, wasn't it, to Dr. Phibes? Vincent Price, he plays Lionheart. It's Edward Lionheart, and he's sort of like he's basically a raving loony in that, you know, because he takes his revenge on the critics who slate his performances and that in the most gruesome ways imaginable. And don't even get me started on the poodle pie scene with poor Robert Morley. If you've seen it, you'll know what I mean. Oh my days, was that? I thought that was one of the most disgusting scenes in horror movie history. It was really, really disgusting. You know, he starts off basically like he's in his house. Vincent Price dressed as a chef, and he said, "Congratulations, you've won a competition." And he has all these pies and that. And but I won't tell you what happens, guys. But if you've seen it, you'll know darn well what I mean. You know, but oh yeah, that was the worst death. That one, yeah. But yeah, Diana Rigg plays as is it his granddaughter or his daughter? She gets dressed up. She gets dressed up as a hairdresser and that, with just like she wears dark glasses and like big afro hairstyles and that. Very entertaining movie, yeah, with stellar cast including Ian Hendry. He's good in that. Ian Hendry, yeah. I watched a good movie with him the other night, guys. Ian Hendry, yeah. I've been buying a couple of movies from Network, you know, and one of them was one called, it was an everyday life movie called My Street. It was very, very good. It was in black and white and that, but it's like something along the lines of you know, the movies what's the name done, the guy who done the what's the name, Daniel Blake movies, something along the lines of those, A Taste of Honey, you know. Everyday life. It's very, very good. It's in black and white, as I say, but lovely picture quality. Yeah, up My Street or something My Street. Yeah, I got the DVD of it, so I can highly recommend that. If you like your kitchen sink dramas, check that one out. It's very good. Ken Loach is the guy I was thinking of who made Daniel Blake. Yeah, very, very fine director. Ken Loach. KW Night Gallery is good by Kino. Yeah, I've got all 3 seasons of that. I must admit there was a couple, quite a few actually. I was disappointed in, you know. But I love the hosting by the late great Rod Serling. But there's quite a few episodes in it that was very, very disappointed in, but I am keeping them because they're sort of like the classics of all parts of TV nostalgia, isn't it? And that, you know, there's a couple ones I really like The Girl with the Hungry Eyes. That's a good one, yeah. And the one with Roddy McDowell, where the paintings, the painting comes to life, and that's a good one. Yeah, but as I say, there was quite a few turkeys among that. As there was with, I've got the Creepshow series as well, guys. I don't know if you've seen that, you know, the TV series. I've just finished watching it, all of them now, and I was really disappointed in them, so I put them on eBay. Yeah, they were awful. Not a patch on the movies, guys. They were terrible. The stories were, and there was one particular story, guys. I thought to myself, how dare they? How dare they? What it was this guy, he had this machine. I won't go on too much about it in case you haven't seen the series, but he's basically got this wacky machine, and if he goes into it, and when he goes into it, he puts the lid over himself, and he's got this button where he can see all horror films, and he basically transports himself. It's like a virtual reality thing. He transports himself into a movie. Now he picks Horror Express. You know, the 1970s movie with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, where they have the monster on board in a crate. It's like a demon, isn't it, really? And he basically, he sort of like, it blends in with the movie Horror Express, and he sort of like, you think he's talking to Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, but of course it's all done by clever CGI, isn't it? But I thought that was a bit, that was lazy writing, that using a movie to sort of like put a story together. It might as well have just put the whole bloody movie in Horror Express. Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't like it, guys. And there was another corny one as well. This TV station. I think this was in Creepshow season 2. I think it was Creepshow season 2, where they have the H.P. Lovecraft book, the big old book, the Necronomicon that was in The Evil Dead. There's basically this dealer in antiques. He's got it, and he's on TV basically getting interviewed, and the book's open and that, and passages recited from the book, the ancient text. And we all know what happens when you recite ancient text from a Lovecraft book, don't you? All hell breaks loose, which it did in this. So they sort of like turn into Evil Dead. Sort of like Evil Dead, sort of like, kind of characters, monsters and that, floating up in the air and that. But yeah, that was corny, that. Yeah. I must probably do a review of those Creepshow seasons and that. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend them, guys. I didn't like them. Richard Brown saying Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde was also Brian Clemens. Yeah, it's a great movie, that. Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. You know what I always like about that movie? The way they got the likeness spot on between Ralph Bates and Martine Beswick. You actually thought they were brother and sister, didn't you? Oh yeah, they did a fantastic job with that movie, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. That's one of my all-time favourite Hammer movies, that. Yeah, I've got the Studio Canal of that in my collection. Great movie. Right, Gina is saying, yes, the one with the mirror is Fear No Evil. That's the one with Linda Day Georgian, isn't it? Yeah, that's better than the other film. Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Linda Day Georgian. Yeah, she's fantastic in that. Yeah, that's the one. You're right, Gina. Fear No Evil. Yeah. It's a pity the other movie wasn't good, because it was a nice little set, that, what I ordered from Kino. Yeah, but most probably be able to get that one on its own anyway. I'll try and get that on its own, that one. Fear No Evil. Granted, it's pretty tame, because I think both were TV movies, weren't they? But nonetheless enjoyable for all that, But yeah, I'll have to try and get that on its own. So Gina's saying, I love the Louis Jordan Dracula. I've got it on DVD. It's a great one. Yeah, he did a fantastic job with that, playing a Count Dracula, Louis Jordan. Didn't like that one. He made a couple of Christmases back, guys. That 3-parter. Oh, I didn't like that at all. He put bloody comedy in. It's the same. But again, coming back to the Freddy Krueger saga, isn't it? Putting comedy in, making it like a wisecrack, a stand-up comedian, if you will. Coming out with corny lines like "it's prime time, bitch" and all that. Oh, bloody stupid. They ruined that character, Freddy Krueger character. There was only one saving grace of that when it started to go downhill, and that was the Wes Craven's New Nightmare. That was just like the only sort of like diamond in the rough, as it were, of the later Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I hated the Dream Child, I hated the Dream Master, and I hated the others that followed. But that one, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, it was sort of like, it was kind of a breath of fresh air. Right, Jim Jam movies and TV. Hi Alan, you okay, Jim? Thanks for dropping by, mate. Yeah, cheers. Real SMR. I haven't seen this one. This sounds a strange one. The best Anglia TV drama is The Odour of My Taint. Very creepy, where the woman gives birth to about 6 kittens. Oh no, that's not a film, that. And the demented son cooks them and eats them all. No, it's not a film, that. Dr. Impossible. Brian Clemens wrote the Disney film The Watcher in the Woods. The film went through many rewrites and Clemens was hired. Did a decent job, sci-fi or horror. I think I've seen that one many years ago. I don't remember too much about it, Doctor. So I'll have to revisit that one. Was Bette Davis in that one? Sure, Bette Davis was in that. Right. Paul Conway is saying Count Dracula's Great Love is a very good, starring Paul Naschy. Yeah, I've got that one. Yeah, that's one of the few Paul Naschy movies I like. Yeah, Count Dracula's Great Love, yeah. It's like Hammer with more gore. Yeah, it's a good one, that. Yeah, and the picture quality of the one I've got is absolutely pristine. It really is, yeah. I like that movie. KW is saying, have you seen I Saw What You Did by William Castle? I Saw What You Did. Is that the one with Joan Crawford in? I Saw What You Did. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I might have seen it years ago on our old black and white telly. It does ring a vague bell. I Saw What You Did. I'm sure Joan Crawford's in that. Bit like I Know What You Did Last Summer, isn't it? Right. We can't be having this on here. So where's my zap button? I'm not even bothering wasting breath on them, guys. I'm just going to zap them. Right, moving on. Larry Fleetwood. I believe the character of Alfred in The Fearless Vampire Killers was influenced by Hutter in Nosferatu, and Professor Abronsius likely inspired by the Doctor in Vampire. Yeah, you could be right, Larry. Yeah. And somebody get rid of the Scoon. Moderators, are you listening? Don't know, they slip through the net, these idiots. They really don't. Right. Nathan Andrew Smitty is saying, have you ever seen Quatermass in the Pit? Love that movie. I've got the 3 of them on Blu-ray. Yeah. I didn't like the second one in this. I didn't like the second Quatermass movie, but I did like the first one, and I like the coloured one, the third one. Yeah. KW saying horror films on a Friday night in the 70s was excellent. Yeah, definitely. Yes, and that's all. Don't worry about it. It's only a number, mate. That's what I kept saying to myself the other week when it was my birthday. It's only a number. It's only a number. You're as old as you feel. Right, Paul Conway. What do you think of Demons of the Mind? I hated it. I have to say, I hated that movie. I really hated it, even though it was a Hammer film. Oh boy, did I hate it. I thought it was an underrated Hammer film. Oh, you liked that one, did you, Paul? Yeah, I didn't like it. I had the Studio Canal, and I got rid of it. Yeah, it's one of those Marmite movies, I suppose, isn't it? You either love it or you loathe it, but I didn't like it at all, Paul. Yeah, it wasn't for me, that one. Paul's saying 70s films rule. Now they all tick boxes and are full of CGI, and you've got all this woke nonsense, haven't you? I don't want to go get into political, guys again, because I've said enough about that with the James Bond and Roald Dahl, so we'll leave it at that. But it angers me the way Hollywood's going with all this nonsense. It really does, needs to stop. Disney aren't having a very good time at the moment, so are they with the new movies? Trailers are going down like a lead balloon. Graham Powell saying Frank Finlay is my favourite Van Helsing, and I'm a big Cushing fan. Yeah, I remember Frank Finlay in that TV series with Susan Penn-Halligan, A Bouquet of Barbed Wire. Have you guys seen that one? Remember him? That he's been in other horror movies as well, thrillers, and he's a good actor, Frank Finlay. Yeah. Paul is saying first saw The Vampire Lovers on ITV in 1981. Great movie. I've got the Scream Factory special edition of that, The Vampire Lovers. I hope Scream Factory bring more of those Hammer classics out. They've done a fantastic job, with the ones they brought out. So yeah, fingers crossed, they bring some more out. Yeah, well, I love that. I love The Vampire Lovers. Dr. Impossible. ITV did a series in the 1970s produced by Hammer called Journey to the Unknown. Do you know what? I've been waiting for ages and ages for that to come out on a Blu-ray. Fantastic series, that Journey to the Unknown. Never been released by ITV, Global or Network in the UK. Network would be the ideal company to release that. Journey to the Unknown. It's a great one, that. There's some great little stories in that, especially the one with Dennis Waterman and Carol Lindley, the mannequin doll, and the one with the girl. She gets locked in the library late at night. This big creepy rambling library. Oh yeah, definitely. So if there's any managers of any video companies on here, any boutique labels, Journey to the Unknown would be the ideal choice to be released on DVD or Blu-ray. It's a fantastic series, and I'm sure it would sell well with horror fans. Love Journey to the Unknown. I love the opening as well. It had creepy music, like whistling music, and you just sort of like, you see this fairground and this deserted fairground, and all the music was really creepy, guys. It really set the tone. For what was to come, and believe me, there's some real creepy stories in that Journey to the Unknown. So yeah, so fingers crossed, it will get a Blu-ray release sooner rather than later. Love that series. Nathan Andrew Smitty, what's your opinion of Japanese horrors, Alan? My favourite was The Grudge, but these days they seem to have a little girl with a white face crawling on all fours, yeah, and they always seem to have that bluish tone, don't they, when a little boy's standing on the stairs and his skin's all like bluish. Seems so much of the same thing, yeah. There's some creepy Japanese horrors, yeah. The only thing, like, the only failing with me, I don't like reading the words underneath. I've managed to, there's a couple, like, I've managed to sort of, like, basically got into, even though they're not in English, but that's the only problem, really. You have to read the words underneath and that. It's okay when there's more action than dialogue, because it's just the odd sentence and that. But when it's a dialogue heavy movie, there's where the problem arises, but my mum doesn't like foreign movies either, because I bring horror movies and, it's a foreign, I'm not watching that, words underneath. She calls them the words underneath movies, yeah. But, hit and miss, I've got the 2 box sets of the Japanese horror, The Ring and The Grudge and that. I haven't watched them yet, so once, excuse me, when I've watched them, I'll do a full review of both. But as I say, the Japanese horror movies, they are a bit of a hit and miss, yeah. Dr. Impossible saying late 1960s Journey to the Unknown, eek, yeah. Late 1960s, yeah, great series. Richard Brown saying Dark Water and The Eye are good Asian horror films, yeah. The Wailing is a modern masterpiece, yeah. Yeah, as I say, there's been some good ones and there's been some really bad ones, Paul Conway saying, are you guessing 88 films new zombie creeping flesh? I believe it looks terrible. A botched release with bad colours. Yeah, I think I seem to remember watching that many years ago. I wasn't too keen on it, so I think I'll be passing on that one. KW, hang on, sorry guys. KW saying the new BBC Dracula was very disappointing. Yeah, I didn't like it at all. I thought it was a load of tosh, it really was. But the Louis Jordan one was an absolute masterpiece from 1977. While we're on the subject of horror on TV, guys, I'll tell you a good little series I can recommend. There's only a couple of episodes. I think there's only about seven episodes. Tales of Unease. I think that's on the network label. Seven horror stories set in the 1970s, and they're very, very good. Yeah, real punch in your gut movie. Real punch in your gut TV movies. So I can highly recommend that one. Tales of Unease. Yeah, I've got that in my collection, and I'll be watching it again very, very soon. Yeah, some cracking stories in that. Tales of Unease, yeah, especially the one with the Tessa Wires, who used to be in Robin's Nest. There's a very, very good one there, where she goes house hunting with her boyfriend and that, and this sinister house and that, and there's this weird woman, and she's like a gypsy and that, and she's warned not to go near. Don't go near this particular room, there's evil and that. I won't give away too much of it, but it's a great one, that one. The one with Tessa Wires in, yeah. So I'd highly recommend, if available from Network DVD, Tales of Unease, so check that out, it's great. If you love your horror TV series, I'd highly recommend that one, Tales of Unease. It's fantastic. You don't get much of a good thing though, do you? I'd say there's only around about 7 episodes on it. KW, the new BBC, yeah. Right, sorry guys, just the comments have jumped a bit there. Venom Boy 95, do you remember a movie from the 70s called Dark Places starring Christopher Lee and Joan Collins? It's funny you should say that. I've not long watched that. I got the Christopher Lee Crypt, box set, the Euro Crypt of Christopher Lee, and that was the only good film in it, Dark Places. and that has just been released actually in Britain on its own, so I might pick that up. But getting back to the Yorga Crypt of Christopher Lee, it was every bit as disappointing as the first box set of the Yorga Crypt of Christopher Lee. It cost near a bloody £100 as well. So luckily I've managed to find a buyer for it just today, so I've got rid of that. But getting back to dark places, I'll definitely pick that up and add it to my collection. It's a great one, that. Yeah, it's a pity the other movies weren't as good, you know, otherwise I would have kept that volume 2 of the Yorga Crypt of Christopher Lee. So yeah, very disappointing, but that Dark Place is definitely worth adding to your collection. KW, have you seen Andy Warhol's Dracula? It's a mad film. Some great scenes. Is that the one called Blood for Dracula? Did he release the two? Flesh for Frankenstein and Blood for Dracula. Never seen it. No, never seen it. I have to check it out one day. I know the 4K is quite expensive from what I've seen like online. Right, Paul Conway's saying, have you seen Victim with Elizabeth? I've got that one in my collection. It's a great one, that. Victim with Elizabeth Montgomery, yeah. The one where his sister is dead in a wicker basket. It's great, that. I've got that one. Yeah, lovely cover as well. Nice slip cover. Oh yeah, I love Elizabeth Montgomery. Used to like watching it in Bewitched. I've got the whole series of that, Bewitched, in my collection. Oh yeah, it's a good one, that. Victim. Yeah, I kept that in my collection. Yeah, the only horror movies, guys, I keep in my collection, ones I know I'm going to go back to again and again and again. And that one, Victim, is definitely one of those movies. Otherwise, I just get rid of them. If I say it's a once-only watch, it can go either to a charity shop or, you know, wherever, eBay or whatever. But yeah, that is definitely, you know, it's got a good rewatchability factor, that one, Victim. Yeah, I love that movie. Right, Dr. Impossible is saying that Dracula by Stephen Moffat was just so bloody turgid. The BBC did that great 1977 take on Stoker's novel. The TV score was eerie by Welsh composer Kenyon Emrys Roberts. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that Dracula a few years ago. That was a 3-parter, wasn't it? Yeah, I didn't like that at all, you know. And I said that the Louis Jordan one, that's you know, that's the best TV adaptation of Bram Stoker's novel for me, you know. But yeah, I didn't like that new take on Dracula at all. Why did they have to put bloody wisecracks in and comedy in? Totally dilutes the horror content. There's a time and a place for comedy in horror movies. I mean, you know, like Abbott and Costello and Frankenstein, yeah, that's okay, because the horror and comedy was well balanced. I've said this before, American Werewolf in London, that was okay, again, because the comedy and the horror elements were well balanced. But when you start putting comedy in horror movies or horror TV series that primarily seem to be, you know, put over as being serious, I think that's where these writers slip up, you know. They did it with the Freddy Krueger movies, as I've said countless times, and I know it's an opinion that's shared by many horror fans. They ruined Freddy Krueger by turning him into a bloody stand-up comedian, you know. But yeah, this is it. You see, you've got to sort of, like, when you're writing a horror story, you've got to tread that fine line, because if you put anything in it people find funny, totally ruins the story. The story loses all credibility. I mean, I know myself, being a writer of horror fiction, you've got to be very careful when you're writing a horror story. You don't put anything in too ridiculous. I tell you what always makes me laugh, guys, in some of these horror movies, you know, when the CGI, you know, and he's sort of like the ghost and that sort of flits around the house as if it's jerking around the house. One minute you see it in front of a mirror, and it's jerked some bit. It's pardon the expression. It's I shouldn't say jerked. I should say it's just flitted off somewhere else, you know. And another thing that always amuses me, guys, in horror, I don't know about you guys, when they're sort of like the killer or the monsters hovering over the victim, and they're just going like this, no, please, no. Instead of bloody running off into the woods, you know, I've done a video on this, actually, you know, worst horror tropes and that, most irritating horror tropes and that. Yeah, where they're sort of like standing there saying, no, please, no, don't hurt me. And the bloody killer's got a bloody axe in his hand, like, you'd be bloody shaking with fear, you'd be scarping, wouldn't you? You know, it always gets me, that, guys, you know, how bloody ridiculous. And when they're running out the house and the killer's in the car, the killer's in the house, running after them. What did he do? There's a car outside. What did he do? They get into the car instead of running into the woods, you know. If you were getting chased in real life by a maniac or a monster in your house, your nerves would go and you just run into the woods, wouldn't you? You wouldn't stop by a car and fiddle with the key and that. Oh, yeah, it's too many horror movies, guys, are guilty of that trope. It's very irritating. Right, getting back to the comments. Richard Brown saying, talking of Susan Penhaligon, she's made some good horror films. She certainly has, yeah. Yeah, she was good. I'll tell you what she was good in, Richard. The Peter Cushing horror anthology movie, The Uncanny, about the cats, where she was dismayed. I think she was after the old lady's money. The old lady had a house full of cats, and she was after her money, wasn't she? Then she smothered her, didn't she? Yeah, she smothered her, and all the cats attacked her. Yeah, tore her to ribbons and that. She's very good in that. She's a very fine actress, Susan Penhaligon, yeah. Danny Dukes is here. You okay, Danny, mate? Thanks for dropping by. Hi, how are you doing? I am good. Oh, that's nice, Dan. Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks, Dan. Yeah, not too bad, yeah. Nathan is saying, don't get Alan started on woke nonsense, or you'll see you will see a horror movie live. There's no woke ranting tonight, so you can, you can sort of relax in that. Now, I've said me piece on woke. I've said me piece on Roald Dahl. I've said me piece on James Bond. I just draw a line under that now. But a lot of people are still going on about it online. If you say, especially the Walt Disney, what they're doing with the Walt Disney, the Little Mermaid and all that, but I won't get into it and that. Well, just watch YouTube and you just see the videos and that, Let's hope it'll implode on itself eventually and things get back to normal. Right, moving on. Paul Conway's saying Susan Penhaligon is in the anthology The Uncanny about the cats. Yeah, that's the one I just mentioned, Paul. Yeah, that's a great one, that. Yeah, I like the one with Wellington in as well, where the girl's got a cat called Wellington, and doesn't she go to live with, is it her aunt or... I think it's her aunt, and her aunt takes an instant dislike to the cat Wellington and that, she's got this equally obnoxious daughter who doesn't like the cat either, and she ends up shrinking it. She does black magic, doesn't she, the girl? And she ends up shrinking the offensive daughter, and Wellington, big giant cat, gobbles her up. Yeah. So there you go. Just bear with me, guys, just the comments have just jumped there. Right. Dr. Impossible saying Bessie Davis, Ian Bannon and David McCallum were in Watcher in the Woods. Beautiful cinematography at the beginning by Alan Hume. Right, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to check that movie out, yeah. Sure, I've seen it years ago, Larry Fleetwood, A Dragonfly for each corpse. It's a good one with Paul Nashi. Paul Nashi has a good print on YouTube. It's more of a Giallo than a horror, though. I like my Giallo movies, yeah. I know some of them can be a little bit of a hit and miss, but I do like my Giallo movies, and I've actually written a book on Giallo movies and that. So yeah. Some good stories. I think my all-time favourite Giallo movie is The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. That's a great one, that. And Arrow done a fantastic release of that, yeah, starring Susie Kendall, yeah. It's based on a novel as well, yeah. I love The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Torso's a good one as well, guys. That's a good Giallo, again starring Susie Kendall. Yeah. Blood and Black Lace, that's a good one from the 60s. I love the, what's the name, that? When it starts off, they've got like a samba beat, like, yeah. Oh, yeah, really good intro to that one. Blood and Black Lace, yeah. Nice colour as well. Yeah, I've got that one on Arrow. Right, Paul Conway's saying, have you seen Dario Argento's Dracula with Rutger Hauer as Van Helsing? Yeah, I have seen it, and I wasn't too keen on it, unfortunately, Paul. Yeah, not a classic. No, I didn't like him changing this sort of like this like big giant insect thing. That never happened in the Dracula, the original Bram Stoker novel, Dracula. And it never happened in the Christopher Lee movies. It never happened in the Bela Lugosi. I don't think I've ever seen it happen in any Dracula movie other than that. It turns into this like big, is it a praying mantis? Thought that was a bit far-fetched, that. And the guy, he wasn't scary at all. He looked like the kind of guy who models men's pullovers in the catalogue. That's how scary he was, you know. But yeah, it's not one of my favourites, that one, even though it was by Dario Argento. Richard Brown is saying, saw Tessa Wyatt in The Goodies this morning. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, she's a very fine actress, Tessa Wyatt. I used to like her in Robin's Nest with Richard O'Sullivan, whom I believe he married her, didn't he? Tessa Wyatt. Nathan Andrew Smithy is saying, have you seen Basket Case? I've got it. Yeah, I've got the three of them, the trilogy. It's about a man and his demented paraplegic brother, Belial, yeah, who he carries around in a basket, yeah, but he sneaks out and murders people. I've got them all, yeah. Yeah, I've got them all, Nathan, the Basket Case. Yeah, fun movies, very, very gory and very, very quirky movies, yeah. Yeah, I love the Basket Case trilogy. Dr. Impossible saying, Gumshoe with Frank Finlay and Albert Finney. Bingo, Called at Night, Private Sam Spade. During the day, always liked the film. I do have a soft spot for Albert Finney. He's a good actor, Albert Finney. Yeah, wasn't he in Saturday Night and Sunday Morning? Albert Finney. That's a great movie. That Saturday Night and Sunday Morning. Real British working class. It perfectly symbolised the angry young men of that particular period. Yeah. So, I tell you what I did get, guys. It's talking about older movies. I was shopping in Chester a couple of weeks ago, and I picked up. I've never read the book, and I've never watched the TV series. 1984 by George Orwell. You know, with all this nonsense going around at the moment about it's getting like 1984. I thought to myself, well, let's check that book out. So I bought the novel, and I got the TV movie with Peter Cushing in, yeah. So what I'll do, once I've read the book, 1984, I'll compare it. I'll watch the TV movie. That's got loads of extras on it, by the way. So so looking forward to checking that out. 1984. I say I've never read it. While we're on the subject of George Orwell, I picked up Animal Farm. That's a much thinner book than that. So I'm looking forward to watching that one. Yeah. David Klein, hi Alan, hope all's well with you. You okay, David, mate? Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, not too bad, thanks, Dave. Yeah, not too bad. Hope you're okay as well. David Klein again. Alan, a big favourite of mine is Stuart Gordon's From Beyond. Definitely, I love that movie as well. Have you seen it? I've got it. Yeah, I've got it in my collection. Yeah, and I believe they just brought out, or they're bringing out, a fantastic 4K. With a brand new transfer, you know, so I might get that one. Yeah, oh yeah, I love that one, From Beyond. Yeah, it's great. That's one of H.P. Lovecraft's greatest stories, in my opinion. From Beyond. Yeah, oh, love that one. Yeah. Barbara Crampton's in that one, isn't she? The girl that she's been in loads of horror movies, of the Reanimator. Yeah, love Barbara Crampton. Right, Richard Brown saying Albert Finney was good in The Wolfen. Do you know what? I haven't seen The Wolfen. I've seen trailers of it, and I've seen clips of it, but I've never seen it right through. I'll have to get that. I know HMV Premium Classics released it, didn't they? Yeah, I'll have to pick that up and give it a watch. The Wolfen. Never seen it. Gina is saying, I'd love to see you do a Giallo live stream. Yeah, could be on the cards very, very soon. Gina, yeah, love me Giallo movies, yeah. So, so watch this space, yeah. Gary North is saying, the black belly of the tarantula is a great Giallo. Do you know what I thought? I'm sure I've seen that one. I've seen that many Giallo movies, you know, sometimes you get mixed up with them and that, you know, but I'm sure I've seen that one. The black belly of the tarantula. If I haven't seen it, I'll definitely check it out. Is that the one where they get bit by a spider, they're paralysed and that you can't move? Is that the one you mean? Because yeah, I seem to remember seeing a trailer of that on YouTube last year. So yeah, it looks a pretty good movie, that. Dr. Impossible, a challenging BBC anthology series from 1970s, was Supernatural. Club of the Damned member is required to tell a horror story. Each one is gothic in tone. I'm not sure if I've seen that TV series, Supernatural. No, I'm not sure if I've seen it. because I did have one a couple of Christmases ago, and it was made in the 70s, and I didn't like the stories at all, so I'm not too sure, to be honest. In Indie Remix, have you watched the Blood on Satan's Claw commentary with the League of Gentlemen? Yes. No. Are you a fan of the League? No. Theatre of Blood has a massive influence on them. One of my favourite Vincent Price's. Yeah, I think I remember reading somewhere that was a massive influence on the League of Gentlemen. Never seen one episode of that. Love Theatre of Blood, as I said before, but no, I haven't seen, as I say, in regards to the commentary on the Blood on Satan's Claw, I haven't listened to that. Yeah, I'll have to listen to that. That's one of my favourite folk horror movies, that one, Blood on Satan's Claw. Stars Linda Hayden. Yeah. Right. Richard Brown saying the 1984 film is good with John Hurt and Richard Burton. Yeah. Walk on, always believe. Watch it, Alan. Hope you are well. Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Yeah, hope you are too. Thanks for dropping by. Nathan's saying, do you like the Twilight Zone original TV show and the Outer Limits? I love the Twilight Zone. I don't like the Outer Limits. Which are your favourite episodes? Well, the Twilight Zone, I like that one with William Shatner, where he's on the plane. It's a horror at 50,000 feet or 100,000 feet, and he's on the airplane and he looks out the window and he sees this like monster on the tail wing of the airplane, and a stewardess, he calls the stewardess over and he's trembling, shaking, and she calms him down. That's a good one, that. Yeah, and I like the one with Vera Miles, where she's got like a doppelganger, where she's sitting in the bus, I think it's a bus station late at night, and she's got like a doppelganger. That's a good one. And that Maple Street, where they think they're getting invaded by aliens and that, and it turns all the people against each other. Yeah, it's at the house on Maple Street, or the Terror on Maple Street. That's one of my favourite Twilight Zone episodes. Oh, I'll tell you another one I love. Talkie Tina with Telly Savalas. That is one of the greatest, I think, not just the Twilight Zone, I think that's one of the greatest horror segments I've ever seen in a horror TV series. It basically buys this doll for its kid, like Chucky, and it starts talking and that, it's evil, the doll's evil, and oh yeah, and Telly Savalas, you really feel his hatred and fear for the doll. It's a great one, that. Talkie Tina, yeah. And what else is there? There's a lot I forget, because I haven't watched them for ages. The one with Burgess Meredith or something, where he's a bookworm or something, and doesn't the apocalypse come, and he has no books. I don't remember too much about it, but if you've watched the Twilight Zone, you know what I mean. Yeah, it's something to do with Burgess Meredith and books. He's mad on books. But yeah, there's been loads. Yeah, the one with Donna Mills of the Beverly Hillbillies, where she's sort of like she's getting her face is disfigured, but it's not everything is not what you think it is, because what was bestial to the alien? What is bestial to the aliens is the human face. I won't go into too much about it, but you think like she's disfigured, but she's actually human. She's got a human's face, a beautiful girl's, and that would be monstrous to the aliens because they're all ugly. So that's a good one. But yeah, lots of I've got the whole series on Blu-ray of the Twilight Zone. I had to start watching them in sequential order. And yeah, I love the Twilight Zone. Yeah, but I didn't like the Outer Limits. I got that for Christmas, and it bored me to tears. The stories they were more sci-fi. Guys, they were more science fiction than horror. So I flogged it. But yeah, I love the Twilight Zone now. Right, Gary North saying, yes, the one with the spider. Yeah, that's the one. Indie Remix. There's a cracking double bill at Odeon soon with 2 Mario Barbers, including Blood and Black Lace. It's a great movie, as I said before, guys. Blood and Black Lace. It's a great one. If you haven't got that in your collection, I definitely recommend you add it. The Arrow edition. Yeah, it's a great one. That one of the early Giallo movies. Gina Walpole says, Supernatural is a great series. My favourite stories from it are Ghost of Venice and Night of the Marionettes. Right? Yeah. while we're on the we broached the word supernatural, guys. Any fans on here like that series with the two American guys in? Jensen Ackles was one. I don't know what the other guy's name is. Supernatural. They're like brothers. Well, the brothers, aren't they? And they encounter demons and all sorts of monsters each week. And that we started watching it the first couple of series, but it started to get corny, so we stopped it and that. Yeah, but I know it's got a huge fan following. Yeah, Supernatural, the American TV series. Linda Blair was in one. It was in one episode, and one of the corniest ones was where the I think that done it for us. I think that was the turning points. Up until then, we've been enjoying it. The series where they end up being in a horror movie and that, and you've got all the old horror monsters in and that, as if they just walked onto a horror set. That was just corny, that, guys. So we just stopped watching it, yeah. But so I'd say for any fans of that on here, let me know your thoughts on it. Do you like it? Do you think it's corny? Yeah. So be interested to hear your thoughts on that. Nathan Andrew Smitty always found 1984 very depressing, right? Living that movie in real life now, I think, well, it's not. People have drawn a lot of parallels, haven't they, between that story by George Orwell and the current times. They seem to have a ban on the brain. They're banning the wrong things, aren't they? Right, so Walk On Always Believe. Whenever I see a stupid decision in horror, I can't help but shout at the screen. I know what you mean. What you doing? Really? Where's the killer cut? There's bloody head off. Serves you right for not for not reacting. Survival. Definitely, yeah, I'm with you there. There's so many stupid decisions in horror movies, and one of the main culprits, one of the worst offenders, was a movie called Jeepers Creepers, guys. Have you seen that? Where he goes down the bloody hole, and knowing full well the dangers of the monster in the truck. What does he do? He goes down into the bloody hole, doesn't he? Down into the bloody cellar, whatever it is, and that. Knowing full well he's putting his life, he's putting his head on the block. Oh, what a stupid decision that was. So that I lost interest in that movie right away, Jeepers Creepers, and I thought the subsequent sequels were dire. And I've got no intention of watching that new one. That new Jeepers Creepers. I've got no intention of watching that new Firestarter because I believe that is absolutely abysmal. Believe me. So two big no-nos there. The new Jeepers Creepers movie and the new Firestarter movie. To tell you the truth, guys, I wasn't really a great fan of Firestarter. It's not one of my favourite Stephen King stories. I thought it was slow, it was boring, it was ungripping, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the book. I don't think I finished the book, actually. I first bought it in the 1980s. I don't think I finished it. I was that bored with it. I thought it was going to be another Carrie, a girl with supernatural powers. I was getting all excited and that. But once I started reading it, I thought, oh my days, what have I wasted my money on here? And when I saw the movie version, I didn't like it at all, with George C. Scott and Martin Sheen. Oh yeah, I didn't like. I'm not a great fan of Firestarter, so that's a definite no-no. Right, Dr. Impossible saying Mario Bava was pretty atmospheric with Black Sabbath, right? Habit on Arrow, well worth guessing if you can, seeing it's OOP. That's the one with Boris Karloff, isn't it? With it's a horror portmanteau, a horror anthology. I love Black Sabbath. Yeah, Karloff, where he plays that vampire type monster. I forget the name of it. Is it the Vrolocks? They're like kind of vampires. Oh yeah, I love Black Sabbath. Yeah, it's a great one. That great, huge fan of Boris Karloff. He was the man that got me into horror with his excellent portrayal of Frankenstein. I've said it many times. I've got to say it again. Boris Karloff was the man that got me into horror when he played the Frankenstein monster. The king of horror, they call him. Fantastic actor, and a very, very nice man in real life, by all accounts, just like Peter Cushing. Right. Oh yeah, while we're on the subject of Boris Karloff, guys, and if any of you's on here waiting for a movie called Targets, that's coming out. I think it's coming out in June. It was put back. But I believe it's coming out around about June or July, and I don't know, is it Indicator or Criterion are going to bring it out with special features where he plays a retired horror star, and it's like two stories. Like, he's a retired horror star in Hollywood, and it's like a sniper on the movie set. I don't remember everything about it. It's years since I saw it, but that's the general premise anyway, and I've always longed for that to be released on Blu-ray. So it looks like this is going to be the year for a Blu-ray release of Target starring the late great Boris Karloff, so watch out for that one. Definitely be picking that up when it comes out. Paul Conway's asking me, have you ever seen Alison's Birthday? It's an Aussie folk horror film made in 1981. Alison's Birthday, it does ring. It rings a vague bell. I think I might have rented that when in the 80s when I got my video recorder. Yeah, it rings a bell. That one. I've seen a few birthday movies, Happy Birthday to Me and all that, and Bloody Birthday, and that could be one of the ones among those early VHS rentals. You know, there was always at the video shop every night when I finished work. That would be my first port of call, you know, going to our local video store. So yeah, I'm sure I've had that house on VHS. Richard Brown, Shulk and the Painter was a good TV film. I haven't seen that one, Richard, based on a Sheridan Le Fanu story. Oh, Sheridan Le Fanu, that's the Irish writer, isn't it, who wrote Camilla, the vampire story that sparked the Karnstein Hammer trilogy. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Venom Boy 9 say favourite Hammer House of Horror episode. Oh, my favourite Hammer House of Horror episode has got to be the Two Faces of Evil, definitely. Although there was many more that came very close to taking that crown, I'd have to stick with the Two Faces of Evil. You know, with the dad, like, you know, they're driving along in the country and encounters this character in a yellow Suester, and he has a fight with him. And the character, whoever it is, he's got like a fingernail, like a long fingernail, and he stabs the father in the neck. And then you don't know if he's the creature. The creatures took over his body, or it's the dad like just turned evil. That's really gripping. That, oh yeah, he's in hospital and that, and his teeth are all discoloured and he's real creepy. Oh, that's a great one, that, the Two Faces of Evil. So that's my number one favourite episode from the Hammer House of Horror 1980s TV series. And I've got the imprints box set of that, which is much superior to the earlier one, the British one. So if you're going to get that series, get the imprint one, you know, for the special features and lovely packaging. Yeah, oh yeah, I love that series. I can watch that any time. Never get tired of watching that. Paul Conway is saying Vincent Price is great in Last Man on Earth. Yeah, I've got that one. He's very good in that. Yeah, where he hunts vampires. Yeah, I was thinking about picking up the Keanu Lorber release, because Keanu Lorber have released that, haven't they, with a slipcover? So I was thinking about picking that up. Well, I've got the colorized version of that one, Paul, as well. The Last Man on Earth, yeah, based on the Richard Matheson story, isn't it? I Am Legend and that, like the Charlton Heston one, the Amiga Man, that was based on the Richard Matheson, and the Will Smith one. There's been a few versions of that. I Am Legend, hasn't there? But yeah, that's a great one, that one, with Vincent Price in. Walk On Always Believe is saying, is Burgess Meredith the guy who plays Mickey in Rocky's Train? I think he is. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, so any Rocky fans here, yeah, he'd know. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Paul Conway, speaking of Nashi, Blood Eyes of a Broken Doll is superb. Great Giallo. I haven't seen that one, Paul. Blood Eyes of a Broken Doll. So I'll have to check that one out. But his movies, like, they are a bit of a hit and miss, as I say. The two box sets I got a couple of Christmases ago were very disappointing. So, right, Dr. Impossible saying Nosferatu the Vampire by German director Herzog was good. Yeah, still have the pre-20th century Fox video release, everyone's favourite nutter, Klaus Kinski as the vampire. He's a good actor, Klaus Kinski. Everybody's favourite nutter. It's the first time I've heard him referred to in those terms before. Richard Brown, I love the Firestarter. Oh, did you like that one, did you, Richard? Yeah, I suppose it's one of those Marmite stories, isn't it, you know? I tell you what, guys, while we're on the subject of Stephen King, I don't know what you guys think, but his last couple of novels have been, in my opinion, have been very, very disappointing. You know, The Institute, Fairy Tale, you know, very disappointing. You know, he seems to have moved away a bit from the horror, doesn't he? You know, the real house horror, where he first made his name with. I wish he'd go back to the out and out horror, you know, but yeah, they've been very disappointing. I couldn't finish Fairy Tale. You know, I just after a couple of chapters, I just flung it aside, and I wasn't too keen on The Institute either. No, and Billy Summers. Oh, no. I think that was one of his worst novels. That Billy Summers, terrible. Right, Walk On Always Believe is saying, the only thing I like about stupid decisions in horror is the fact that I'm rooting for the killer and looking forward to the killer getting their hands on the dumb idiots. Well, I think that's what sometimes they do with these horror movies. They put like a group of annoying, obnoxious teenagers in just for the sheer pleasure of the audience, you know, clapping when they get killed and that, you know, saying, hey, that's another one gone, you know. Yeah. So they put these like cardboard cut-out characters in to annoy the hell out of people, and then when the monster gets them, the audience are all jubilant, if you know what I mean. Say, yeah, I've got rid of him now, got rid of her now. Because let's face it, guys, a lot of these horror movies now, there's some really annoying characters in them, isn't there? You know, I mean, there was one I watched the other week, Wolf Manor. They were doing like a horror movie in a sort of like in the English countryside, and they had this fella playing like he was really annoying. He was playing like a kind of Count Dracula, you know, Count Dracula part in the movie. He kept putting his teeth in, putting them out, and he was getting seen wrong over and over again. And the way he spoke, it was really annoying, guys. He really was, you know. Well, if you've seen Wolf Manor, you know the fella I mean, won't you? Oh God, he was annoying. He really was, yeah. But I might actually do that one day. Actually, I might do a top 10. My top 10 most annoying horror characters. Yeah, that should be fun. Yeah, because I've seen some really annoying characters in my time in horror films, as I'm sure you guys have. You know, maybe you could cite some examples while we're on now. You know, any characters in horror movies what's annoyed you. So yeah, let's hear them. That lad in talking about annoying characters. Although I do love the movie. The House by the Cemetery. That boy, the little boy, says, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. He says Mommy all the time. Well, if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. And he's had stick to this day about, you know, he was whining all the time, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. You know, so he said it was very, very irritating, you know. But some say, they reckon that wasn't his voice. Some people say that it was dubbed, you know, but even so, that's sort of like stuck with him. You know, he's had a lot of stick for it and that, you know, playing that little boy in that movie, The House by the Cemetery, you know, saying Mommy, Mommy, Mommy over and over again, you know. So I suppose he could rank as an irritating horror character. But there's been loads, even in the old black and white horror movies, have been annoying characters, hasn't there? You know. But there was one particular character that annoyed me. I don't know about you guys. Have you seen Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman from 1943? There was one particular character in that. He was a villager. I think he was a barman, a bartender, and he was just annoying. He hated Talbot, and all he wanted to do was poor Talbot went to the village looking for Dr. Frankenstein for a cure for his lycanthropy, and he didn't like Talbot right from when he first saw him. And I said, Frankenstein's dead, you know, and a good riddance and all that. Get out of my barn. Always annoying. And that, oh yeah, he was. And he got the villagers on his side to blow up the dam. There was a dam by where, you know, with Frankenstein's castle, the ruins of it, where Talbot was he was getting operated on towards the end of the film, and the doctor was there, but then they had the Frankenstein monster. But of course, as was always the case with Universal films, the doctor's attention turned to the Frankenstein monster, because he said, I've got to see the Frankenstein creation at its full power. Another ridiculous decision, guys. So what does he do? He turns his attention away from draining the energy from Talbot into revitalising the Frankenstein monster. And as he's doing that, this slimy bugger, it was said before from the village, this bartender, he got the villagers to blow the dam up. And when he blew the dam up, the walls just come down onto the castle and onto the Wolfman and that, just as they're having a fight, just as Wolfman's having a fight with Frankenstein, the water comes through the walls and drowns them, of course, until they're resurrected in the next movie, The House of Frankenstein. But he was an annoying character, guys. I'll have to look his name up on the Frankenstein meets the Wolfman internet movie database, and he'll most probably be in me video. My top 10 most annoying horror characters, so that should be fun. Another thing I don't like, guys, in horror movies is whiny characters. You know, he's saying about the boy before, saying "Mommy, mommy." You know, these ones that whine all the time and that, you know, and scream for the least little thing. That happens in a lot of the American horror movies. Like, you get like a girl squealing all the time, nothing's happening and that, barely nothing's happening and that. And these ones where you get like this, you get like a group of teenagers, and you always get one big head, don't you? He's always swigging from a can, and he's bodybuilding and that, and he thinks he's God's gift to women, you know, and every other word out of his mouth is F this and F that. You'd always get one in those in those American horror teen movies and that, yeah. They're annoying. If you sort of like put them all together under the one umbrella, they would personify one main annoying character trait. What is very, very common in those American horror movies. Right, back to the comments. Kay saying Targets is great. Yeah, I'd certainly second that, Kay. I think it's from BFI. Yeah, you could be right there. BFI, yeah. Can't wait to get that. Paul saying, what do you think of Jose Larez films? Symptoms and Vampires are great. I didn't like Symptoms. That was the one with Donald Pleasance's daughter, wasn't it? Angela Pleasance. I didn't like that one. But I didn't mind Vampires. I didn't think it was a great movie, but I didn't mind it. Yeah, I haven't really seen all that many of Jose Larez films. Just that those two, as I say, I've definitely seen them. Gina's saying, I love Schalk and the Painter, right? The image is so beautiful. Every scene is like a painting, right? Richard Brown is saying Jean Rollin is quite interesting. Erotic Vampires, The Grapes of Death is his best. I've got The Grapes of Death. It's a good one, that, Richard. Yeah, I like that one. Good transfer as well. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we watched the, I got the Count Yorga set from Arrow. Finally got round to watching them the other night, and they're fantastic, yeah. I enjoyed them every bit as much as I enjoyed them when I watched them the first time round. Yeah, it's a fantastic set, that, from Arrow. Loads of special features in that, and a lovely book as well, so really enjoyed it, yeah. I think the Count Yorga movies are the two of the greatest vampire movies I've ever seen in my whole life, so if you haven't got that Arrow set, I highly recommend that you get it. It's a great addition, that. Dr. Impossible saying Peter Bogdanovich Targets was produced by Roger Corman, right? Decent flick, yeah. As I say, I can't wait for that to come out on Blu-ray in the summer. Paul Conway and The Living Dead Girl and Fascination. Do you know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen those two. I'll have to check those out. Yeah, I've seen trailers of them, but they're definitely on my list of movies to buy for my collection. Right. Larry Fleetwood is saying The Iron Rose. I've got that one. Yeah, I like that one. 1973 by Jean Rollin is very good and atmospheric. Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, it's a good film, that. Some people might find it a little slow in parts. My mum wasn't too keen on it, but I liked it, you know. The two good early 70s British horror films, Deathline, 1972, and Psychomania. I've seen Deathline, but I haven't seen Psychomania, Larry. Deathline is the one, I always remember that one. It's set on the railway station, is it, the Underground, and you see Christopher Lee's only in it for barely 5 minutes. He's like, he's got a bowler hat on, hasn't he? He's like a businessman, or he's a kind of a secret service. I don't exactly know the character, but I do remember him being dressed with the bowler hat, and then he wasn't in it for very long. That was a good easy money for him that day, wasn't it? Yeah. But I've seen Deathline. I'm not a great fan of it, to be honest, but I haven't seen Psychomania. Richard Brown, Stephen King is one of the woke mob, unfortunately. Oh, right. I didn't know that. I know he's been criticised, hasn't he, for didn't somebody say he hasn't heard him saying anything criticising the woke. I don't, excuse me, I don't know the full story, guys, but yeah, Paul's saying love Psychomania with the biker zombie gang. I'll have to check that out. That one wasn't that made around about 1980, 81. Yeah, I'll check that one out. Richard Brown loves Psychomania. Yeah. Paul Conway, great folk song in a cemetery. Right. Larry Fleetwood, Wrong Turn 2003. It's a great thrill ride. All its silly sequels are gory fun too. I've got the box set of the Wrong Turn movies. Yeah, they're pretty fun horror movies. Yeah, I like the remake as well. Although I know that's a kind of a Marmite one, isn't it? Because it took the story in an entirely different direction, didn't it? But I liked it. I got a nice version of it with the slipcover. Yeah, I don't mind the remake, Wrong Turn. Dr. Impossible saying, did you ever see Bette Davis in a psychological horror film called Dead Ringer? Davis plays the two evil twins in a twisted tale of deception. I haven't seen that one, Doctor. Great thriller and little known. I haven't seen that one, Dead Ringer. I'll have to check that out, yeah? Yeah, is that one of our last movies, is it? Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I love Bette Davis. Walk On Always Believe says, Alan, there's an anthology series I highly recommend. Slasher Series 1, 4.5 out of 10, but Series 2, 9.5 out of 10. I love this. I'll go as far as to say Series 2 is the best horror series I've ever seen. I'll have to check that out, that one, Slasher. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I'll check that out. I tell you what, guys, I'm enjoying it so much. We'll go on till 10:30 tonight. We'll have an extra half hour because I've enjoyed it tonight, talking about all the horror films and that. So yeah, so as I say, I'll be on till 10:30. So instead of finishing at 10, I'll go an extra half hour if that's okay. Right, Paul Conway is saying George Saunders killed himself shortly after that film. Right, he was a good actor as well, George Saunders. Yeah, he made some cracking films. Walk On Always Believe is saying I'll be watching Series 3 soon. Right. Gene is saying I love the dreamlike atmosphere of Roland films. Yeah. As I say, I'll have to check more of his movies out. I haven't really seen all that many. Yeah, I'll have to check. There's a lot I've got to catch up on of Gene Roland. Walk On Always Believe is saying I spoke to the main actress in Slasher Series 2 on Instagram and told her how great she played the role. Incredible. Oh, that's good. Yeah, fantastic. Paul Conway says the vampires in the clocks was unique. Right. Richard Brown says, hang on, sorry guys. Richard says the Demoniacs is good. I haven't seen that one, Richard. That's another one I've got to check out. Indie Remix is saying what makes the Count Yorga movie so good? Been thinking about picking it up for a while. And also, would you recommend Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue? I would definitely recommend Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. I've got that in my collection. Love that movie. In regards to Count Yorga, oh yeah, 10 out of 10. But the original and the sequel, you just got to. If you love your vampires in modern settings, I think you'll enjoy the Count Yorga films. And he is one mean vampire, and he comes out with some great wisecracks as well. Now, there's one particular one I've got to cite, guys. He's at this party, Count Yorga, and it's this young boy. He's playing the piano. He's playing his tune. I can't remember what the tune was, what it was called, but he's playing the piano. And Count Yorga comes up to him, and the young boy looks up, and he says, "Do you like that tune?" And Count Yorga says, "Only when it's played properly." You know, he comes out with these dry witticisms and that. You know, and there's another part where the girl said, "How did you get here?" He said, "I flew." You know, oh yeah, the witticisms I think blend in well with the horror aspect. You know, yeah, so they broach that, they touch on that in the extras and that, and the book and that, you know, the witticisms that were peppered in the Count Yorga. In the Count Yorga films and that, you know, he came out with some funny remarks, you know, but not to a ridiculous extent like the Krueger films. They were just plain stupid. Those Freddy Krueger, those later Freddy Krueger films were just plain balmy, you know, because it made him like a stand-up comedian, you know. But Count Yorga, they done it that good. There was a good counterbalance between his dry sense of humour and his horror, and he was one horrific vampire, guys. You know, when I first saw him, the way he just came out of nowhere, and he sort of like chased after his victims like a hungry lion, and his teeth were bared and that, and he didn't just have fangs there, he had them right across the top row of his teeth, you know. Oh, real ferocious Count Yorga. And I've got to mention that scene again, guys, that was like the Manson murders, where they're all in the house and at the family, and this horde of vampires, they converge on the house, and they break in, and they slaughter everybody in the house except one girl who Count Yorga's got his eye on, and he kidnaps her. But oh yeah, that's a real horrific scene, that, guys. If you haven't seen the Count Yorga 2, oh, be prepared for that scene, because it is brutal. It really is. And as I say, they actually said when that was made, they thought of the Manson murders, you know, when Charles Manson sent his followers around to kill, you know, the Tate LaBianca murders, they were called, because they done the same thing with another couple the following night, didn't they? They killed poor Sharon Tate. The next night they went to another house and did exactly the same. So that's why it's called the Tate LaBianca murders. But yeah, they said, the producer, it was very, very reminiscent of the Manson murders, that scene where the vampires converge on the house. But yeah, I'd highly recommend Count Yorga. Yeah, it's like he's set in modern day America. So I think if you like your vampire stories with a modern setting, I think you'll enjoy the Yorga films. They were great. Paul Conway. The only weak episode in Hammer House is the chap obsessed with the number 9. Oh God, yeah. Yeah, that was it was a trifle weak, shall we say. Yeah, didn't like that at all. Yeah, I didn't like that one. I didn't like the Denholm Elliott one either. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that one. The one with Denholm Elliott in. Right, Richard Brown saying, very atmospheric, those Hammer House of Horror series. Yeah, I love the theme tune as well. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and the one with Peter Cushing in, where he's in charge of the pet shop. Yeah, and he's an ex-Nazi, isn't he? And he says like, I was not a captive, I was a captor. So when I first watched that, it set me blood running cold in me bloody veins. He's so sinister in that role, Peter Cushing. The pet shop and that, with all the wild animals and that, you know, and the electrified device he sets up. Great stories. This is what I've said this before, guys. This is what a lot of modern horror movies are seriously lacking now. Good stories with good characters. They're too reliant on teenagers and CGI and very, very weak plot lines, you know. When you think of some of those series with, you know, horror movies and TV series with the likes of Peter Cushing in, and Christopher Lee and Boris Karloff, Vincent Price, they all had good solid stories with good characters, you know. But as I say, they're just not making them the same now. All of our horror actors have gone, really, haven't they? You know, very, very sad the way, you know, what it's become now, the horror genre. Right, Danny is saying, I just got today Phantasm, the complete collection from Arrow on Blu-ray. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed them. Yeah, I've seen that box set. Yeah, it's a cracking box set. Yeah, good. Paul's saying Silent Scream is one of my favourites. Yeah, with Peter Cushing as the Nazi pet shop owner. That is a fantastic story, that. Yeah, it's great, that one. Walk On, Always Believe. I love Bette Davis, great actress. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane? Yeah, definitely. Lesser, Nanny, Anniversary, Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. Yeah, all great films. Yeah, great actress, and in her younger days, she was very attractive. Yeah, definitely love Bette Davis. Yeah. Richard Brown saying the Black Hill films are great too. I haven't seen them, although I have seen trailers of them, Richard. And I believe, according to the extras in the Yorga set, the settings, they use the same settings, and you know, when Yorga's coming to America and it's big craze and that, the same scenes we used in Dracula when Dracula's coming to his location. Yeah, so they borrowed the scenes from the movie and that to include in Dracula. There you go, a bit of useless information for you there. Paul's saying that kid in Mario Barber's shop was annoying as well. Right, yeah. I don't remember too much about that one because it's a while since I watched it. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, shock. Richard Brown saying, oh sorry guys, comments are playing up. Richard's saying, great film though, shock. Yeah, I've got the Arrow edition of that. It's a good one. So yeah, guys, I've really enjoyed the chat tonight, talking about our favourite horror films and that. So yeah, thanks for turning up anyway. So as I say, I've got a few pickups there. What I've ordered from Film Treasures and you know, other companies as well, Amazon and eBay. So once I've watched them, I'll do reviews of the ones, you know, what I like in that, you know. So and maybe one or two of the ones I don't like. So expect a rant or two if they're not up to scratch. No, being serious, I always like to give it a positive reviews about movies. I don't like to moan about every single thing. I don't like to moan about nearly every single film that I watch, you know, because there's good and bad, isn't there? You know yourself, guys. You've seen some turkeys, haven't you? But on the other side of the coin, you've seen some classics. So yeah, so I always like to make 99.9% of me videos enjoyable and positive. You know, but of course, if there's one particular movie that has really annoyed me, it's got to be said. You know, well, exactly what I thought of it. Yeah, so there you go. Richard Brown, favourite non-horror. Oh my days! Now you're asking me favourite non-horror film. There's loads. Oh, favourite non-horror film. Western wise, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. My all-time favourite Western. Music wise, Oliver Twist, the one with Mark Lester in. Oh God, I like the Indiana Jones movies, adventure wise. Oh yeah, there's so many. I like Ken Loach, his kitchen sink dramas. So many. I could sit here all night. You know, spouting superlatives about what my favourite non-horror films are. I like the Jolson story. That's good. Elvis. You know, that's the way it is. There's so many, Richard. So many. Walk on, always believe. With you being a Hammer and Amicus fan, and I know you dislike some films in each, but which one would you say has more? Which one would you say has more of them that you dislike, Hammer or Amicus? Which one would I say has more dislikable ones? That's a bit of a tough one. That I would say. I think. Don't quote me on this. But I think Hammer made more horror movies than Amicus did. I know Amicus are famous for the portmanteau, aren't they? The horror anthologies, if you will. But Hammer, I'm sure they made many more horror movies than Amicus, because they were out for years, weren't they? So in that particular, bearing all that in mind, I would say Hammer maybe. You know, I mean, I didn't like Demons of the Mind. I didn't like that. I wasn't fussy on The Witches with was it Joan Fontaine? That was a Hammer film. I wasn't fussy on that. I didn't like, what was the other? Oh, there's been a few. I haven't liked the Captain Kronos. I didn't like that. Wasn't too keen on that. To the Devil a Daughter. Although I did like the premise, I didn't like the ending. I thought the ending was rushed and it was ridiculous. So if very few guys seen The Devil a Daughter, starring Christopher Lee, as he's a priest and that, but the way they dispose of him in the end, it was just corny, guys. It was rushed, so maybe that would class as a Hammer movie I'm not really all that crazy about. But yeah, I would say, to answer your question, I would say there's more Hammer films I dislike than there is Amicus. Yeah, but I haven't got the filmography in front of me and that, so I'm sure if I had every single film, it would jog me memory, you know, but off the top of my head, I would say Hammer. There's more Hammer films I dislike than there is Amicus. So there you go. Brian, have you got your eye on any upcoming horror Blu-ray releases? I'm just trying to think now. Well, I'm still waiting for Twisted Nerve to come out on Blu-ray. It's been put back a few times. The one with Hayley Mills in. That's a great one, that. Twisted Nerve. My eye on any upcoming horror Blu-ray releases? I'm trying to think. Not really took my eye at the moment, Brian. Just trying to think. I believe I've heard sort of going to make a new Insidious movie, so I most probably check that out. But having said that, I didn't like the sequels. I wasn't too keen on the sequels, so yeah. But I always like to check every new horror movie out just to make sure that it's sort of like, you know, it picks up from the previous ones and that. But I did like Insidious. I did like Insidious 3. That was okay. But I didn't like the part 2, and I didn't like The Last Key. Insidious, The Last Key. I didn't like that. I thought it was boring. But yeah, you can't really think of any. I most probably check out Salem's Lot when it comes out. But as I say, don't go to the pictures. I get them on Blu-ray or DVD. I was trying to think. Targets, of course. I'm looking forward to getting that one. But having said that, there's none particularly grab me attention at the moment. Yeah, do you reckon they're going to make it Terrifier 3, don't they? But I haven't really heard much more about that. Right, Richard's saying the Michael J. Murphy box set from Indicator is well worth getting. Really low budget, but some great acting and quite gory. Michael J. Murphy. Oh yeah, right. I'll have to let's have a look at that. The trouble with those box sets, they can be hit and miss, can't they? I mean, I bought quite a few the last couple of Christmases. They've been awful. I've had to sell them on eBay. So if you haven't seen the movies and that, it's like a blind buy, really, isn't it? So you're taking your chance. But I'll have a look at it anyway. But whether I'll buy it or not, I don't know. Nathan's saying, did you like the 1966 Carry On Screaming movie? It's my favourite one. I love it. That's my all-time favourite Carry On movie, that. Carry On Screaming. Yeah, it's great, that. Yeah, the lecherous oddbod, couldn't keep his hands off Vanilla Fielding, could he? Harry H. Corbett was great in it. Kenneth Williams, of course, was great in it. Yeah, Frying Tonight. Yeah, but yeah, that's my favourite one. Carry On Screaming, definitely. Yeah, I do prefer. I said this before. I do prefer the Carry On movies in the modern setting. I'm not too keen on the period pieces like Carry On Cleo, Carry On Henry. I'm not too keen on them. I'm not too keen on the horror movies as setting period pieces, to be honest. My favourite period pieces in terms of horror viewing are the Hammer Draculas and the Hammer Cushing Frankensteins. They're my favourite period pieces in terms of horror, in terms of horror viewings. Yeah, I'm not really a great fan of period pieces. Walk On Always Believe is saying, I've never seen a Hammer or Amicus yet, but will do. There's so many horrors to check out. With vampire being a bat, does Christopher Lee turn into a bat in Dracula? Also, why does vampire become a bat? Yeah, I know. I wondered that about Christopher Lee. Yeah, you never actually saw him, did you? Turn into a bat, although you did see him scaling the walls of his castle like a giant lizard in the Scars of Dracula. If any of you guys have seen that, you'll know what I mean. He's crawling down the walls of his castle, as was described in Stoker's original book. Yeah, but yeah, I always wondered why they never, Christopher Lee, never had him turn into a bat. Yeah. Right, Paul Conway is saying, Vengeance of She is a bad Hammer film. I'm not a great fan. There's more Hammer films. I'm not keen on the She films. I didn't like them. They're more of adventure movies, and yeah, I like Hammer horror. Not really keen on their adventure movies. At the same again, the Pirates, the Sword of Sherwood Forest, I didn't like that either. you know, even though Peter Cushing was in it. I didn't like that. I didn't like the pirate films either. That's why I didn't get that last Hammer Indicator set. It was all swashbuckling, you know. I didn't. The Man with the Scarlet Blade, oh no. Oliver Reed, oh no, not for me that. No. I like the Hammer horror. Horror's the best, guys. Yeah, I'm not a great fan of pirates and all those type of films. Richard Brown, Blood on Satan's Claw is a period piece horror. It's a great one, that. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, Linda Hayden. Yeah. She's real menacing in that, isn't she? Yeah. Jamie's here. You okay, Jamie? Thanks for dropping by. Good evening, sir. Hope you're well. I'm not too bad, thanks, Jamie. Yeah. Sir Alan, there's a thought. Lol, are you interested in seeing the new Evil Dead film? Yeah. I'm going to see that one, yeah. But as I said, I don't go to the cinema now. I just tend to watch them when they come out on Blu-ray or DVD. So, yeah, I'll definitely be checking that one out, yeah, to see what it's like, yeah. My favourite one, though, as I said before, is the first one, you know, the very first Evil Dead film, yeah. Love that movie. I've got the 4K of that. So, yeah, I'll definitely check that one out, that new one. Paul Conway, Jose Larraz did Black Candles. I remember you weren't impressed with all the sex. It wasn't so much. Yeah, it was. That was just one of the things I didn't like about it. I didn't like the story. The story was very poor. It was slow. It was ponderous. Nothing much happened. I didn't like the characters. So again, that's another example of the packaging, you know, being better than the actual movie. You know, but yeah, I didn't like that film at all, unfortunately. Jamie's saying First is the best. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, so getting back to all-time favourite horror movies. What's your favourite all-time classics, guys? Yeah, feel free to discuss. Yeah, so I'm going to be on till 10:30. So ask me anything at all as well about horror. You know, my favourite horror films, my least favourite horror films, my favourite horror actors. You know, anything at all. You know, I'd be glad to answer them for you. Richard's saying, did you like the New York Ripper? I love the New York Ripper. Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah, that's the one where he rings the police up, isn't he? He does that Donald Duck voice over the phone. Yeah, and Jack Hedley, they dub his voice, don't they? Jack Hedley. Yeah. I like the New York Ripper. It's a good one. Yeah. Larry Fleetwood is saying, I love the four 70s Spanish blind dead films. Yeah, they're great. Them. Yeah. The Living Dead, Knights Templars. Yeah, I've got them. I had to send off to Amazon Germany for them. But I believe I've heard murmurings that a company could be picking them up in a box set. I don't know if it's Arrow, and releasing them in a Blu-ray box set with loads of special features. So I'll definitely be, if that is really true, I'll definitely be getting them. Oh yeah, I love the Blind Dead movies. Yeah, the Knights Templars and that. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, lovely setting as well. Yeah, I've got to say, I've got all four of them. My favourite one, of course, is the first one. Yeah, and that has actually been released in a steelbook packed with special features. Yeah, and I believe they're actually releasing an ordinary one of that. So I don't really collect steelbooks, to be honest with you. I'm not really a great fan of steelbooks. So when they release it in a normal Blu-ray or 4K, I'll definitely pick that up. Bear with me, guys, just getting back to the comments. Right, Walk On Always Believe is saying, I've only seen 9 horrors this year so far, whereas last year I saw 83. But I have been watching a lot of true creepy stories, pictures with true horror backgrounds, unexplained horror mysteries on YouTube. Yeah, I've been watching a few of them. Yeah, oh yeah, there's some right creepy ones, isn't there? You know, yeah. There's one there, experiences of security guards working late nights, you know, in factories and that, and offices and that, and oh yeah, real true stories and that, based on what people's experiences and that. Yeah, oh, there's loads of them. Yeah, true creepy stories and that, and you've got like your You've got your creepy pastas as well, haven't you? The fictional stories and that, very, very short and that. They're quite good. They're quite creepy. But oh yeah, YouTube. Oh, there seems to be an infinite amount of them on YouTube. Those are true horror stories. So yeah, definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen them. Jamie's saying my favourite horror films aren't going to be for many. Lol. The original 1990 Stephen King's It, Planet Terror, and What Waits Below. What Waits Below with Robert Powell. I haven't seen What Waits Below, but I have seen the original 1990 Stephen King's It with Tim Curry, and I did like that one. Planet Terror. I haven't seen Planet Terror, but yeah, I'll have to check that one out. That Robert Powell one. I haven't seen that one. But I say I love that first It with Tim Curry playing Pennywise. Paul Conway, Night of the Seagulls is fantastic in the Blind Dead series. Indeed it is. Yeah, great movie. Yeah. And it's not those Blind Dead movies, you know, guys. They're not if you haven't seen them, they're not you're not like your run of the mill zombie movies. They've got like sort of like a different aspect to them, because like they're based on the Knights Templars, you know, and it goes in a different direction to what a normal like Living Dead zombie movie would go, and it goes into a different direction. And the way they've done the stories and that, I thought was absolutely fantastic, you know. So if you haven't seen the Blind Dead movies, I highly recommend you get them. They're very well worth the watch. Yeah, I love them. Brian's saying to Larry Fleetwood, me and my mum love those films too. Yeah. Richard Brown saying Planet Terror is good, right? Jamie Powell, never ever watch The Beast the Bunny. Now it's funny you should say that. I had a DVD a couple of months ago based on a killer Easter bunny. Is that the one you mean? This big giant bunny. It was like in the forest and that was stalking these teenagers. That could very well be the one what you're referring to there. Yeah, one of those low budget movies and that. Yeah. Nathan's saying my favourite Hammer episode was the one with Donald Pleasance, who cons the guy into his house with his daughter and murders him. I think Peter Cushing is the shop owner who was always being ripped off. You're talking about From Beyond the Grave, aren't you? Yeah, Amicus. I think it was made 1973, where Peter Cushing he's the proprietor of this shop full of curios, and everybody that goes in and tries to fiddle him, do him out of money, like Robert Till and that. Grave consequences befall them. You know, something bad happens to them, if you will. But yeah, I love that one, From Beyond the Grave. It's not a Hammer episode. It's actually a full-length movie, From Beyond the Grave by Amicus. Donald Pleasance, when he's supposed to be an ex-war veteran, isn't he? And isn't he standing outside the station? And it's Ian Bannon. He plays the businessman, and he invites Ian Bannon round to his house for tea, doesn't he, and cake. And his daughter is real sinister. She starts humming this creepy song. Yeah, that's the one. From Beyond the Grave. And he always says to Ian Bannon when he's outside selling his matches and his lighters, "Shall we have the pleasure of tea again tonight, sir?" He salutes him like that. And that's a great one, that. Yeah, I love that one, From Beyond the Grave. I love the ending as well. I love me horror anthologies. Yeah, absolutely love them. Whenever I see a horror anthology movie, you know, a new one, I always snap it up, you know, just to see what it's like. Again, you know, mixed bag, you know, hit and miss. Some are good and some are absolutely atrocious. Yeah, but I haven't said that, guys. My favourites are Amicus. You know, I don't think any companies matched Amicus for knowing how to put a good horror anthology movie together. Yeah, so always loved Amicus. Brian's saying to Jamie, I really enjoyed What Waits Below. It's a really good horror film, right? Jamie's saying, am I right to believe, Alan, you've written some ghost story books, or am I wrong? No, I've written quite a few, Jamie. Yeah, I've written true ghost stories based on, you know, actual events, what's happened over the years and that. Done a lot of research for them and that. You know, it took me a while to write them because of the research. There was that much research. And in addition to them, I've written 2 books of my own Horror Stories Volume 1 and Horror Stories Volume 2, which I don't know if you've ever read the Pan books of horror stories. They're a kind of a nod, if you like, you know, to the Pan books of horror stories and the Fontana books of horror stories, which I always used to borrow from my local library, you know. So I've written a book on Giallo movies, and I've written a book on haunted objects. So I've written quite a few. I'm a freelance writer and that. And I started to publish them on Kindle first, and then I went to when I saw that Amazon gave the opportunity for authors to do their books in paperback, I started publishing them in paperback. So if you just type in Alan Toner on Amazon, you'll see all my books on there. They're all there and that. And if you go to my website and that, alantoner.com, you'll see all my titles there. Yeah. So I enjoy writing stories and that. It's something what I've always done right from, you know, when I was at school. I was always the one that wrote the long essays in the classroom and that, you know. And 99% of the time it would always be a ghost story or a horror story. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been doing it now for quite a few years, since I think it's around about 2013 I started publishing my own books. But I enjoy it and that, you know, it's good and that, and you know, getting feedback from people who read the books and that. So so as I say, if you just go to Amazon and just type in Alan Toner, you'll see all my titles there. So I enjoy writing my stories and that. Richard Brown saying Strange But True at Michael Aspel. I remember that series well, Strange But True. Yeah, it was very good, wasn't it? Yeah. Does anybody remember Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious Whales? That was a good one. Yeah, all sorts of like paranormal occurrences over the years and that, like UFOs, the Yeti, the Bermuda Triangle. Oh yeah, I used to watch that. That was a huge staple of the 1980s. And I used to watch What to Tell You in the 1980s. I always watched that. Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious Whales. Jamie Powell, it's Brian. Thanks, Brian. It's great, right? Larry's saying, thanks, Brian. They're awesome. Yes. Jamie's saying, that's the Easter Bunny Massacre, right? Yeah. Which is better than Beast the Bunny. My God, that's just damn awful. Well, I can imagine, yeah, with a title like that, yeah, oh yeah. You just wonder, don't you? You know, some of these producers and that, you know, some of the stories that some of the movies what they churn out and that, you know, low budgets and that. You think, bloody hell, you know, yeah. Some of the well, they're making what's the name now, aren't they? They're making horror characters of the likes of Winnie the Pooh, aren't they? Blood and Honey. You know, yeah, but I think, you know, you think like they're running out of ideas, don't you? So they're turning on like sort of like kid stories to try and sort of like milk some horror out of them. I'm going to see that one anyway, that Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Have a look at it and see what it's like, yeah. So, Walk On, Always Believe. You being a writer and a fan of books, I highly recommend Mr. Ballum on YouTube. He tells true, creepy, mysterious horrors, and he tells it in story format. So I'll have to check that out, yeah. Thanks for that. The way he does it is kind of like reading a book, yeah. There's another guy as well called Darren Marlar. He's quite good. He's an American. He's either American or Canadian, and he's got some good stories and that, yeah. He's read a couple of my stories out because he asked me, you know, he was interested in me writing and that, you know, me paranormal, and he said, like, could I read some of your stories out? And I said, yeah, sure, and that. So he's read some of my stories out, and a very good job he does as well. He's like a voiceover artist, if you like, and he's very good, yeah. Darren Marlar, yeah. So check him out, yeah. He's very good. Paul's saying, one of my favourite Spanish horrors is Blood Spattered Bride. Oh, I've got that one. I love that one, yeah. Alexandra Bastido. That's a great one, that. I love the part where she's found naked under the sand. Yeah, it's good, that one. Yeah. Oh, I used to like Alexandra Bastido in the Champions. Yeah, you know, the 1960s TV series where they had special powers. I think they crashed in Tibet. A plane crash, and they developed these powers and that, you know. Stuart Damon, William Gaunt, and Alexandra Bastido, they were the three champions, yeah. Oh yeah, my dad was a big fan of Alexandra Bastido as well, yeah. Alright then, guys, so as I say, I'm going to go on till 10:30, so we've got just over 5 minutes. So if you want to get as many questions in as you like, ask me anything at all, you know, not just horror, anything at all, like, you know, yeah, I'd be glad to answer them for you. Brian Gilson is saying to Larry Fleetwood, my favourite is the Ghost Galleon. Yeah. Paul Conway, Angela Pleasance is the spitting image of her dad. She is, yeah. So uncanny. Yeah, she's a spitting image of Donald Pleasance, isn't she, her dad, yeah. Richard Brown, The Orphanage is a good Spanish horror film, yeah. Paul Conway, and Julia's Eyes. Richard, I haven't seen Julia's Eyes, Paul. Yeah, I'll have to check that out, yeah. I tell you it's a good one, guys, while we're on the subject of it, Eyes Without a Face. That's a great one, that. Yeah, it's a foreign movie, black and white. I think it was made in the early 60s and that. It's basically about this mad doctor. He tries to fix his wife's face has been disfigured in an accident caused by him. And he kidnaps girls and he takes their faces off to graft onto his wife's face to make it to preserve her beauty. A bit like the Corruption movie, what Peter Cushing made, yeah, but that's a great one, that. Eyes Without a Face. It's not in English and that, but if you don't mind reading subtitles and that, you should enjoy it. And I certainly enjoyed it. It's a great movie. Eyes Without a Face. Real Asmer is saying it's the movie. Woo. Also Cushing says, shouldn't have done that. Oh yeah. That's right, he says that in a Yorkshire accent, yeah, when he sort of like they dip their hands into his till and it's sort of, shouldn't have done that. Oh, he's fantastic in that. As he's equally fantastic in every role he plays. Peter Cushing, yeah, one of the greatest British actors ever. Jamie's saying, I'll check them out, books. Oh, yeah. Oh, I hope you enjoy them, Jamie. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think of them, yeah. Yeah, cheers, mate. Brian's saying to Jamie, I have What Waits Below in a DVD multi-pack. Oh, right, yeah. As I say, I'll have to check that movie out. I haven't seen that one. Walk On Always Believe is saying, what's your all-time favourite horror story? Mine's Inferno Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy from the year 1340. Ooh, that's going back a few centuries, isn't it? My all-time favourite horror story. Oh, I've got many. I've got too numerous to mention. I mean, I can roll one off me top of my head. The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. That's quite it's got a really good twist, that one, The Lottery. It starts off harmless enough, but by God, does it end with a bang. I like The Monkey's Paw. That's a great one, where they have 3 wishes and that, and it doesn't turn out good. There's loads. There's Frankenstein, Mary Shelley, Dracula, Bram Stoker. I couldn't name one particular all-time favourite horror story. It's like saying, what's your all-time favourite 70s song? What's your all-time favourite 90s song? All-time favourite? There's so many. I just couldn't name one particular one, But as I say, The Lottery is one of my all-time favourites by Shirley Jackson. The Monkey's Paw, and I like Edgar Allan Poe stories as well. The Telltale Heart, that's a good one. Yeah, he wrote some good creepy stories. Edgar Allan Poe. But there's so many fantastic horror stories written over the years. Jamie's saying, I also like Beyond Belief with Jonathan Frakes. I don't think I've seen that one, Jamie. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. You got any episodes on YouTube? Larry's saying, love Ghost Galleon, so underrated and somehow more surreal than the others, even though they're all supernatural, right? Richard's saying Julia's Eyes is great. Yeah, that's another one I've got to check out, Julia's Eyes. Right, guys, we've got about a minute to go, so I'll try and get through as many questions as I can. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it tonight. Thanks for turning up anyway. Paul's saying, do you think that Megan Doll film looks any good? Modern horror is usually a letdown. I've seen trailers of it. I don't really know what to think of that, to be honest. It seems to be kind of a female version of Chucky, doesn't it? Yeah, I'll most probably check it out, you know, because I do check out most new horror releases. But yeah, I can't really form a solid opinion on that until I've actually seen it. But I say I'll definitely check it out. Brian says to Larry Fleetwood, I totally agree. Brian Gilson, I'm hoping to see the movie Smile. It looks really creepy. I quite enjoyed Smile. I thought it was very good. Yeah. Richard Brown, Smile is quite good, a bit derivative, right? Yeah, it's one of those Marmite movies, I suppose. Paul Conway, Night of the Demon is a masterpiece. The black and white one. Oh yeah, with Dara Andrews. Oh, it is a masterpiece. That terrifying movie. Yeah, based on the story, isn't it? Cast in the Ruins by M.R. James. Oh yeah, I love Night of the Demon. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. Alright then guys, so I'm going to wind it up now, so thanks again for turning up. I really enjoyed it tonight talking about our favourite horror movies, and all going well, I'll be back again next Thursday, same time, same place, with another live stream. I don't know what the theme's going to be. I must probably decide on that, over the weekend. So yeah, so thanks very much guys, I really enjoyed talking to you all about horror and that, and have a nice weekend, take care, and all going well. As I say, I'll be back again next Thursday night with another live stream. Bye, take care.